IITA, alongside its partners, stands at the forefront of developing and adopting various ICT technologies crucial to realizing this potential. The impact of IITA's work across Africa is phenomenal. The Institute continues to intensify efforts to enhance food and nutrition quality, and it For more than 50 years, IITA and partners have been undertaking research and development to produce innovations that address the challenges of food insecurity and poverty, and support the smallholder farmers and consumers of Africa. Since it was established in 1967, IITA has helped improve the lives of millions of African farmers in rural farming communities across the continent. IITA is the leading research partner in sub-Saharan Africa, being CGIAR's first African link in a network of international agricultural organizations working across the region. IITA is aligned with local needs and works with local research institutes and stakeholders in building partnerships with key actors to conduct demand-driven research and help drive agricultural transformation across the African continent.
The aim of this action is to ensure that this solution absolutely efficient meets all
In Africa, IITA plays a pivotal role within CGIAR, delivering crucial innovations to farmers, producers, value chain participants, food processors, agro-dealers, and various stakeholders. These efforts facilitate agricultural solutions aimed at alleviating hunger and poverty across the continent. For example, smallholder farmers encounter numerous challenges, including climate change-induced hazards, pest and disease outbreaks, rising costs of agricultural inputs, and ongoing degradation of soil health, leading to diminished yields.
We have a unique focus on Africa. That gives us the opportunity to do R&D, to innovate along all the components of the value chains. We have noticed the threat of climate change is affecting all farmers in most areas of sub-Saharan Africa. We have been working on climate services for agronomy. Now what we need to do is strengthen this area, get it coordinated, and bring all our innovations together so we can actually make African farming systems resilient to climate variation, which is a condition for transforming our systems here.
IITA is deeply engaged in many CGIAR research initiatives, leveraging innovative tools and approaches to address both existing and emerging challenges.
We are also trying to utilize all these new scientific tools like genome editing. We are also working very closely with the regulators so that the biosafety policies and the guidelines are in place.
Agriculture has been recognized as an engine for economic development. As a commercial activity, agriculture can create jobs for women and the youth.
It is crucial to incorporate gender in all the research areas of IITA because we are really focusing on agricultural development within communities within Africa. And if you really want to have an innovation that suits the local context, you have to talk to both people because they have different expertise and different opportunities.
To promote sustainability, IITA is committed to actively involving youth across all stages of the agribusiness value chain.
The myth is that the youth is not interested in agriculture. Youth are looking for sustainable employment where they can build dignified careers, gain a social status within the community in which they live, and be able to contribute to the economy in a way that also relates to them as viable actors.
Africa possesses the potential to achieve food self-sufficiency through its vast human and natural resources. However, IITA, alongside its partners, stands at the forefront of developing and adopting various cutting-edge ICT technologies crucial to realizing this potential. The impact of IITA's work across Africa is phenomenal. The Institute continues to intensify efforts to enhance food and nutrition quality and ensure the safety of Africa's food supplies.
The impact of IITA work has been very well documented. If we visit the regions where we work, there is this documentation that provides you the how and effect of what we have been doing and put a dollar number to the different work that we did.
Working closely with partners and farmers on agricultural research and delivery over the years, IITA focuses on the shared goal of achieving food systems enhancement and the developing economies.
Fulfillment of the mission of IITA is to bring the technologies to the users, taken up by the private sector and being scaled up. The aflasafe product, the cassava mechanization, the various programs in the area of soil fertility management, plant health. So one area of focus will be to accelerate the uptake of those technologies for the further transformation of African food systems.
For more than 50 years, IITA and partners have been undertaking research and development to produce innovations that address the challenges of food insecurity and poverty and support the smallholder farmers and consumers of Africa. Since it was established in 1967, IITA has helped improve the lives of millions of African farmers in rural farming communities across the continent. IITA is the leading research partner in sub-Saharan Africa, being CGIAR's first African link in a network of international agricultural organizations working across the region. IITA is aligned with local needs and works with local research institutes and stakeholders in building partnerships with key actors to conduct demand-driven research and help drive agricultural transformation across the African continent.
The end game of research is to ensure that it creates solution to human problem. We have so many innovations that are being developed. It needs to get to the hand of the beneficiary.
In Africa, IITA plays a pivotal role within CGIAR, delivering crucial innovations to farmers, producers, value chain participants, food processors, agro-dealers, and various stakeholders. These efforts facilitate agricultural solutions aimed at alleviating hunger and poverty across the continent. For example, smallholder farmers encounter numerous challenges, including climate change-induced hazards, pest and disease outbreaks, rising costs of agricultural inputs, and ongoing degradation of soil health, leading to diminished yields.
We have a unique focus on Africa, and that gives us the opportunity to do R&D, innovate along all the components of the value chains. We have noticed the threat of climate change is affecting all farmers in most areas of sub-Saharan Africa. We have been working on climate services for agronomy. Now what we need to do is strengthen this area, get it coordinated, and bring all our innovations together so we can actually make African farmers.
Welcome everybody. Bonjour, bonjour. Comment allez-vous? Even the English speakers should be able to understand that little French. Yeah, at least you understand that little French. Okay. So for the French speakers, I will just make sure that you have devices because most of the ceremony will be in English. Donc pour nos amis francophones, on a prévu une traduction. Donc le technicien va venir tout à l'heure. Je vous demanderai de vous identifier pour qu'on puisse vous remettre à chacun un appareil. La majeure partie de la cérémonie sera en anglais, donc vous aurez besoin de la traduction. Super. Très bien. On a encore, je pense, une dizaine de minutes avant de commencer officiellement la cérémonie. We still have another 10 minutes before we officially begin. So in the meantime, please mingle and talk to your neighbors, get to know each other, and then in 10 minutes, hopefully, we'll be able to start. Okay? Superb. Welcome again, everybody. As you can see, they are walking with the royal walk and coming in. You will see them very soon.
IITA focuses on the shared goal of achieving food systems enhancement and the developing economies.
Fulfillment of the mission of IITA is to bring the technologies of mechanization, the various programs in the area of soil fertility management, health. So one area of focus will be to accelerate the uptake of those technologies for the further transformation of African food systems.
Welcome, welcome. Please, if you don't find your name on the seats, you can ask one of the ushers. They have the green t-shirts and they'll be happy to assist you. Welcome. Alors, pour les francophones, s'il vous plaît, si vous pouvez, voilà, vous identifier, levez la main, on va vous donner les appareils. Donc, le monsieur est en train de passer. Voilà, attendez d'avoir un appareil. Comme ça, vous pourrez suivre le reste de la cérémonie. In true African fashion, we cannot have an event without greeting you properly with dances and music. You've already heard some of it as you were coming in. We'll have a little additional demonstration for those who were not paying attention, and then we will start our ceremony. This is also the moment where everybody should be seated and ready to listen to the whole program. Anybody else in the room that does not necessarily need to be here, please vacate the space. Thank you so much. I hope that you paid attention because by the end of this ceremony, I will ask you to do the same. You all. So I hope you followed. Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to have you all here in Ibadan, Nigeria, in this beautiful campus of IITA. My name is Astudia. I will be your MC for today. I will speak English mostly, mais de temps en temps, je vais parler un peu français quand même, parce que le français est joli et plus rythmique. OK? Donc, pour les francophones, s'il vous plaît, identifiez-vous pour qu'on puisse vous donner vos appareils de traduction. D'accord? Voilà. Donc, on en a de ce côté-ci de la salle. Assurez-vous que tout le monde est équipé pour que tout le monde puisse suivre la cérémonie. Alors, on ne peut pas couper, je dirais, au discours officiel où je vais devoir, même pas devoir, avec plaisir, dire bonjour à tout le monde. So I will start this meeting by properly greeting each and every one of you. If I don't mention you by name, it's not because you're not important. We are all very important people. But I would like to acknowledge in particular some of the people that are here with us today. Okay? So allow me, because I don't want to forget any names, to read from my paper. So once again, good morning. His Excellency, Mr. Alexander Nueta. If I squash your name, please also forgive me. Thank you very much. Thank you for being with us. His Excellency, Ambassador Humphrey Gisep. He might not be with us. Mrs. Masanje oh, he's here. Ah, super. Good morning, Ambassador. Mrs. Masanje Toure Litse. Greeting to you. Good morning, ma'am. Mr. Dr. Agre Agumia. Greeting to you as well. Dr. Alun Fall. Bonjour, Dr. Alun Fall. Comment allez-vous? So, Mr. Mohamed Anwar Jamali, comment allez-vous? Bienvenue. Mr. Abel Lufafa. Bonjour. Good morning, Abel. How are you? Dr. Robert Zugmore. Bonjour, Dr. Zugmore. Comment allez-vous? Mr. Dr. Nterania Sanginga, who is home at IITA. Welcome again. And of course, our host from IITA, who have had a lot of work and are welcoming us with pleasure this morning. So, Dr. Simeon Ewi, bonjour à vous. Je pense que everybody knows you. And Dr. Bernard Van Laal. Greetings to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, honored partners. Once again, welcome to this ceremony. When we do speeches, one of the advice is make it as short as possible. Those are the best speeches. So I will not take more time than that because the people that will come and give the different speeches this morning will tell you more about why we're gathered here and what the regional hub for fertilizer and soil health for West Africa and the Sahel is poised to do. So I'll not spoil their presentations. Without further ado, we will start the ceremony with a presentation of Mrs. Masanje Toure Litse. She is the ECOWAS Commissioner for Economic Affairs and Agriculture, and she will kick us off today. So under your warm applauses, please, we will welcome her.
Bonjour à tous. Je vais faire comme Madame Dia. Je vais parler en français et en anglais selon mon humeur. Et j'ai même envie de m'inscrire dans le protocole qu'elle a déjà donné parce que je ne souhaite oublier personne. Donc, avec votre permission, mais quand même, je vais y aller. Je vais lire. Alors, j'ai ici the representative of the Federal Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Honorable Minister of Agriculture of Liberia, Monsieur le directeur général de IITA et directeur régional CGIAR Africa, mon très cher frère Siméon. Monsieur the Special Envoy for Africa Fertilizer Soil Health. Monsieur Dear Jamali Mohamed, CEO OCP Africa, the Executive Secretary for WAFA, representative of partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to give thanks and glory to Almighty God who has enabled us to be among you today in Ibadan, Nigeria, to celebrate a significant moment in the implementation of West Africa Fertilizer and Soil Health Agenda. First of all, allow me, on behalf of His Excellency Dr. Umar Aliou Touré, President of the ECOWAS Commission, to convey greetings and courtesies to all of you here present, in particular to the Director General of IITA, my dear brother, Dr. Siméon Ewi, and his team. Et je voudrais profiter pour te féliciter pour ta nomination à la tête de cette prestigieuse institution. I'd like also to recognize the fact that our dear friend, Dr. Jamali, is with us today. Thank you all for the warm welcome given to us and the facilities undertaken for our participation. Today, we stand at a decisive moment in the history of West Africa agriculture. Our region, blessed with vast natural resources and a rich agricultural heritage, faces unprecedented challenges that threaten our food security and economic stability. Low fertilizer use and continuously degrading soils have significantly held back crop yields, posing a direct threat to the livelihoods of millions of farmers and the well-being of our communities. Our land is rich with potential. Its soils could nourish not only our people, but also feed the world. Yet, the potential remains largely untapped. In 2006, recognizing the gravity of our agricultural challenges, our leaders convened the first Fertilizer Summit in Abuja. In the Abuja Declaration, they acknowledged the critical need to address soil degradation and low fertilizer use. Despite this, 18 years have passed and progress has been slow. Yet, current estimates place fertilizer use in our region at around 20 kilo of nutrient per hectare, compared to the global average of more than 100 kilo per hectare. This stark disparity underscores the urgent need for action. New challenges have emerged, compounding the old ones, and the urgency of our situation has never been clearer. Today, insecurity in the Sahel has reduced the available land for farming, while climate change frequently causes crop failures. At the same time, our population is growing and urbanization is accelerating in an alarming pace. This combination of factors has led to an ever-growing dependence on global trade for food. Recent global crises, such as COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war, have demonstrated the precariousness of relying on international trade for our food security. Indeed, the number of people in situation of food insecurity has risen from 19 million people in 2019 to currently about 50 million in the latest estimate of Food Prevention Network. In response to challenges, our continent's leader, convened another summit to renew the commitment to increasing productivity through enhanced fertilizer use and improved soil health. Under the leadership of the African Union Commission, they committed to tripling fertilizer use, restoring degraded soils, and boosting productivity through the Nairobi Declaration of May this year, May 2024. And to better ensure implementation in West Africa and the Sahel, ECOWAS endorsed the Nairobi implementation declaration after having adopted the Lomé Declaration that took place in May 2023. Several factors contribute to the low use of fertilizer in our region. These include high costs, limited access to quality fertilizer, lack of farmer awareness and education on proper fertilizer use, poor infrastructure for distribution, inadequate government policies. Each of these issues hampers our ability to achieve higher agricultural productivity. With the support of financial and technical partners, effort to implement, coordinate, and monitor the roadmap that address all these issues have begun in early as October 2023, with the support of USAID West Africa and IFDC in West Africa Committee for Fertilizer Control that was launched and held its first statutory meeting as outlined in our roadmap. Another key recommendation of the roadmap is to support countries in the region to develop their own action plans for fertilizer and soil health, aligned to the local needs and opportunities. To this end, the World Bank is supporting ECOWAS and IFDC in conducting country fertilizer sector reviews to enable the development of evidence-based action plans. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it is in this exciting context of implementation of the roadmap that we gather here today for the launch of the West Africa Fertilizer and Soil Health Hub. This hub will provide countries in the region with the necessary technical support to implement their respective action plans through capacity building and service provision in the area of fertilizer and soil health. For instance, the hub will assist countries in developing their own soil fertility map, appropriate fertilizer recommendation, and other technical needs. By supporting knowledge generation and utilization in our region, the hub will definitely help in addressing the problems of high cost, limited access, lack of education. Thus, the hub will be a cornerstone solution for our regional agricultural challenges. This significant achievement of the roadmap was made possible through the technical leadership of IITA, que je voudrais remercier, and a coalition of technical partners, including International Fertilizer Development Center, Africa Plant Nutrition Institute, OCP Africa, and University of Mohammed VI Polytechnic, whom we warmly acknowledge and thank. Additionally, the financial support of the World Bank and OCP has been crucial for this achievement. As we gather here, witnessing the mobilization around the development of West Africa fertilizer and soil health, we are hopeful that these initiatives will succeed and finally enable the green revolution in this region, a region with the strong potential to feed the world, but that is currently struggling to feed itself, as evidenced by the ever-growing number of people facing food insecurity. However, let us not forget the importance of balancing increased productivity with sustainable practices. While fertilizers play a crucial role, we must also emphasize soil health conservation techniques such as crop rotation, composting, and cropping. This will ensure long-term soil fertility and minimize environmental damages. Furthermore, to ensure the success of these initiatives, we must integrate the voices and needs of farmers, particularly women and youth. They are the backbone of our agricultural sector. We must provide them with training on proper fertilizer application techniques and empower them to make informed decisions about soil management. I urge all stakeholders here today, government, financial institutions, technical experts, and most importantly, our farmers, to work together so that we can turn the tide on food insecurity in West Africa. The West Africa Fertilizer and Soil Health Hub, along with the roadmap and action plans, provides a powerful framework for achieving this goal. Let us seize this opportunity and build a more sustainable, secure, and prosperous future for our region. To conclude, let me assure you of the strong commitment of the ECOWAS Commission to continue to play its leadership mandate to ensure the achievement of a secure food security in our region. Merci beaucoup de votre aimable attention. Thank you for your kind attention. Muito obrigada.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mrs. Commissioner Touré. You have covered actually all the key points about this meeting. No, don't be sorry, because this gives us exactly the context that we needed to kick us off. And as the other speakers will come in, they will provide more and more details about the genesis of this initiative, the leadership of these initiatives, but also, once again, what it is poised to do. And I think that the Commissioner has mentioned two important points. One is that all of this started last year in Lomé, May 2023, with a declaration. And I find it amazing that only a year after that, we are here together to actually open the hub. So I think that in our, I would say, pace, this is a very fast pace, and it's something that needs to be recognized. So yes, applauses. What it also demonstrates is that when the will is here, the leadership is here, and the coalition is formed, we are able to advance and advance quickly. So there are other Pan-African organizations that are also involved in these initiatives. And so we would like to have the representative, the executive director of FARA. So this is Dr. Agre Agu, who will come and also deliver a speech to also us not only about the initiative itself, but the role that FARA is playing. So under your warm applauses, please welcome Dr. Agre Agumia.
Thank you very much. I will stand on the existing protocols and say good morning. I would like to start by congratulating the coalition of organizations that are behind the regional hub for fertilizer and soil health for West Africa and the Sahel, and congratulate you for reaching this milestone. As the moderator has pointed out, having the declaration last year and launching the hub today is a commendable pace. And so I would like to start with those congratulations. I would also want to thank IITA for hosting us and for the opportunity extended to Farah and Koraf to make a few remarks at the beginning of this. Indeed, this is a historic event for fertilizer and soil health in West Africa and the Sahel, and by extension in Africa. I come with warm greetings from the Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa, FARA. FARA is a continental apex body for agricultural research and innovation. It is also the technical arm of the African Union Commission and the African Union Development Agency, or NEPAD, on matters concerning agricultural research and innovation. And as I bring greetings, I'm very happy to see friends and colleagues that I have not seen for quite some time. And I'm glad that this event has brought us together. As part of the mandate of FARA, FARA convenes and speaks for African research and innovation institutions, the sub-regional organizations like CORAF, Asarika, CADESA, NASRO, and through them, the national agricultural research institutions. FARA also nurtures partnerships with external actors. External actors are actors that are based outside the continent. We are here at the CGIAR institution, IITA. We do not see these kinds of institutions as external actors. They are part and parcel of FARA. FARA is a forum, and the CG is part of that forum. FARA also supports and mobilizes research actors in the development and implementation of priority continental initiatives that respond to the goals and targets of CADA, such as the Soil Initiative for Africa. When we were engaged in this process of thinking through crafting the Soil Initiative, I think the contribution, not the only contribution, but there was a push from the African institutions led by FARA, that there will be a strong orientation towards soil health. And I'm very happy the Commissioner mentioned and highlighted the importance of soil health as a complement to fertilizer. There are other continental programs that are ongoing, like the Common Agro-Pack Initiative, the Partnership for Integrated Seed Systems, and others. So the soil program sits alongside complementary continental programs that would make it have greater impact. FARA operates at continental level and works closely with regional research and innovation organizations that perform similar functions at regional level and interface directly with the countries. In West Africa, CORAF is that regional organization, and I am pleased to be seated with Dr. Alioune Fall, who will come and complement my remarks. The apex organizations for research, like FARA and the sub-regional organization, for extension and for education at continental and regional level, have organized themselves into a coalition known as the Africa Agricultural Research, Innovation and Education Institutions, in short, ARIS. This coalition is negotiating a strategic partnership with the CGIAR through the Abidjan process, which commenced in 2022 and is still ongoing with the implementation of the ARIS CGIAR action plan. The Africa Fertilizer and Soil Health Summit, held in May this year, stands out as a highlight for FARA in 2024 and over its current planning cycle. And I think it's a highlight for many other organizations. I'm looking at AFAP here. I think we share that in seeing the summit as a potential game changer. It's a potential game changer for restoration of the continent's greatest assets, one of the continent's greatest assets, which is its soil, as well as enhancing the efficiency and sustainable use of this asset. You will agree with me that the summit was a key milestone event. It was just an event. It was part of a broader process that started several years back, leading to the crafting of the long-term initiative, of the 10-year action plan, and along the way we had the fertilizer and soil health roadmap for West Africa and the Sahel. The success of all this work, the work that we engaged in over the last 2 years to develop the action plan, the roadmaps, and all that, will be measured by the impact it will have on the livelihoods and on the environment. This will depend on the effectiveness of the implementation of the action plan and the roadmaps, which will in turn depend on four things. It will depend on financing, it will depend on the institutional arrangements, on capacities, and on the policy environment. The sustainability of this impact over the long term is very crucial, and it will depend on the ownership and mainstreaming by the African institutions at all levels. That's the perspective that we bring to this kind of engagement, that the African institutions are strongly engaged at all levels, at continental level, at regional level, at national level, and at local level. The African institutions in research, innovation, and education are encouraged by the spirit of partnership that has prevailed during the development stage of the soil initiative and of the roadmap, and the spirit of partnership that we see as we advance towards implementation. We see we see that the strong and better endowed institutions like the CGIR, like the OCP, and those kinds of institutions are showing commitment to enter into more equitable partnership with the African institutions. We see this as a condition for success. Second, we are further encouraged by the commitment of the technical partners and the funders to pursue more coordinated actions under the leadership of the African Union and the regional economic communities. Since the summit happened in May, we see that all these institutions are waiting for the African Union Commission and by extension the RECs to give them guidance on how to proceed rather than move on their own. This is a very welcome signal that we want the EPICS institutions to give direction, and then we ensure that we are coordinated. Given the high level of fragmentation of our continent, coordination through regional and continental mechanisms is a further condition for success. This point is underscored in the Nairobi Declaration of the African Fertilizer and Soil Health Summit. There's continuous mention, frequent mention of regional approaches, regional coordination, and regional perspectives. I'm therefore refreshingly pleased to observe that the regional hub we are launching today is a step in the directions that I have mentioned above. The direction of strong coordination through a regional approach, the African leadership and stewardship and ownership, and a sense of equitable partnership. I wish to close by gratefully pointing out that ECOWAS, through the West African and Sahel hub that we are launching, has set an example that is being replicated in other regions. SADC in Southern Africa is in the process of setting up a Southern Africa hub to be hosted by CADESA. CADESA is the homologue of CORAF in Southern Africa. FARA is facilitating the cross-regional learning and the continental coordination of these engagements. This is a positive step. We expect it will be replicated in Eastern Africa, and we are thankful to ECOWAS for, and the hub for setting the tone of the seriousness and the urgency with which we need to move going forward. I thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Agumia, and thank you for also, as you concluded, that is really, this hub is setting the example, and what we wish to see is more of them all over Africa. So thank you very much for that. You've mentioned in your speech that you're very pleased to be next to your colleague, Dr. Alioune Fall. So I would like to ask him to come because he will be giving the next speech. Usually the Francophone people are the ones that speak a lot, but we've seen something different here today. So, Dr. Fall, I'm counting on you. Please. So, under your warm applauses, please.
Thank you very much for giving me the floor. All protocol observed, because we have a lot of, excellencies here, I don't want to go without saying hi to them and really welcoming them to this launch of the hub. Honorable guests, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, when I was coming, I had a 20-page speech, because I have so much things to say about the soil, fertility, the hub. But when I reached IITA, I saw so many friends. I said, why should I make all this speech? I cut it down to less than a half. It's going to be very short. And especially, I have my two bosses here. The ECOWAS Commissioner of Agriculture and FARA. Those are my two bosses. Because CORAF is the technical arm of ECOWAS. And you know that CORAF is coordinating 23 African countries, the NARs of 23 African countries, and coordinating all the NARs in West Africa. That's what Dr. Agre just talked about. And at the point that I was coming, I say, I don't see CORAF in the architecture, of this hub. I say, I have to write and show that CORAF has to be in, But when I talk to people, I say, I know CORAF is in. And thank you very much for showing it. And that's why I say that it's with great pleasure and a deep sense of responsibility that I stand before you today at the official opening of the Regional Hub for Fertilizer and Soil Health and Technical Workshop for Planning Implementation organized by the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, here at the headquarters in Ibadan, and thank you for the invitation. We know that our region is blessed with vast agricultural potential. Everybody knows that Africa is the food basket of the world. However, the reality of the ground often reflects challenges such as soil degradation. Everywhere we have soil degradation. Nutrition depletion, we don't put enough in the soil. We're removing, but we're not putting enough. And inefficient use of fertilizers everywhere you go, working with farmers, you notice that fertilizer is just wasted. These issues not only hinder agricultural productivity, but also threaten food security and livelihoods of millions of smaller farmers who rely on agriculture as the primary source of income. It's very important. The establishment of this hub is a testament to our commitment to overcoming these challenges. It represents a beacon of hope, bringing together researchers, policymakers, farmers, and industry stakeholders in a concerted effort to develop and implement sustainable soil and fertilizer management practices. I would like to express my profound gratitude to the IITA for spearheading this initiative. Your dedication to agricultural research and development has been instrumental in driving innovations that are transforming agriculture in our region. The regional hub for fertilizer and soil health will serve as a central point, I believe, for central point for knowledge exchange, capacity building, and the dissemination of best practices that are essential for improving soil fertility and crop yields. Dear participants, I'm skipping, like I told you, I'm just trying to be very quick. In this context, allow me to highlight two key areas at CORAF and NARS. Just like I told you, CORAF is coordinating 23 NARS in Africa, where our collaboration will be particularly impactful. It's very, very important. And one of that area I'm still skipping is policy advocacy. Effective policies are essential for creating enabling environment sustainability for agriculture in our continent. Our collaboration will focus on advocating for policies that promote the use of improved fertilizers, support soil conservation, and ensure the availability of resources needed by farmers. Policy advocacy is a vital component of our strategy to create a sustainable and prosperous agriculture sector. By working together to promote effective policies, we can create an enabling environment that supports the adoption of improved fertilizers, enhance soil conservation, and should ensure that farmers have the resources they need to thrive. Our collective effort in policy advocacy will pave the way for a resilient and sustainable agricultural future, benefiting both from current and future generations. Let us unite in our commitment to advocate for policies that drive positive change and support the development of agriculture communities. The second key area, the partnership. We are all working on how to upscale good agricultural practices and innovation through conceived action. It is very important to note between the two, between innovation and action, to reach the beneficiary, we have partnership. So partnership is in between the innovation and the action to be implemented. The success of the regional hub depends on strong partnership. I encourage all stakeholders present here today to actively engage and collaborate, leveraging on collective expertise and resources to achieve shared goals. The success of this regional hub for fertilizer and soil health will be determined by the strength and effectiveness of our partnership and collaboration. By actively engaging with one another and leveraging our collective expertise and resources, we can achieve remarkable progress in improving soil health, optimizing fertilizer use, and promoting sustainable agriculture practices. Together, we can create a resilient and prosperous agricultural sector that benefits everyone in our region. Let us commit to working hand in hand, fostering a spirit of collaboration and mutual support to realize our shared vision of sustainable agricultural development. We have a lot of lessons to learn in partnership, and lessons to learn from the partnership between CORAF and IFDC on soil fertility is something very valuable. We think we should learn from and capitalize. It was under ECOWAS. So I'm skipping. Thank you anyway for your dedication, vision, and unwavering belief in the power of collaboration for positive change. Together we can have the potential to reshape the future of agriculture in this region. So thank you very much for listening. C'était court, hein?
Tu as été parfait. Merci beaucoup d'avoir skippé les 15 pages qui étaient de ton discours. So thank you very much for skipping the 15 pages that you had and for making it brief. But I think that the key message is also very clear. As you say, CORAF is there because the 23 NARS that you are working with will be the one that the hub is intending to work with. Something that is important is, once again, the hub will be what the countries make out of it. So here that you have the technicalities that are coming together to bring the best of innovation, the best of methodologies, but at the end of the day, all this has to go to the farmers for the impact to be achieved. For that to go to the farmers, we have to go through the countries. So CORAF is definitely there. Now we're going to go to the second, I would say, section of our lounge/ceremony, which is more detailed presentations about what are the objectives of this hub. You've heard some of it through the different discourses that we've had so far, but I would like to invite two very critical people to actually explain a little bit more to us, and then you will have the opportunity to actually see in action what the hub can do. So I would like to ask Dr. Zogmore, under your applause, please, to please come on the stage, and he will be making a presentation. He will tell you about what.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and to present the Accelerating Impact of CGIAR Climate Research for Africa project, which is a CGIAR-led project funded by the World Bank. And I will try to explain you why we are here in the next 5 minutes. So actually, before I'm focusing on the linkage between the regional hub and the ICRA project, let me briefly talk to you about what is ICRA per se. So ICRA is, in fact, a sort of scaling project. I would say it's a baby of the CCAF's program, the Climate Change, Agriculture and Food Security Program that many people used to know for the last decade. And we've been working, you know, under the context of the climate change to generate solutions that will really help farmers in the agriculture and food security sector to overcome the issue of productivity, but also dealing with the adaptation issue and also reducing greenhouse gas emission in agriculture. And so ICRA works with national and regional partners to make sure that all the existing enhanced climate information services and climate smart agriculture solutions generated through the overall One CGIAR system can be now disseminated to support farmers. So we've been working for the last 3 years, let me say even 4 years for now. And I'm just presenting here some key impacts in terms of achievement. We've currently reached about 7 million beneficiaries with climate information services across the continent. I won't go into the detail of it. We've worked with 160 partners for them to access the enhanced climate information services and climate smart agriculture solutions. We've been able to engage about 26,000 people in ICRA-funded capacity development around these 2 thematic areas. And we are focusing actually on 6 countries, and we've worked even to make sure that our solutions can also spill over to reach 36 countries across the continent. So just to show you the importance of really tapping on this existing project to make sure that through a partnership with a regional hub, we can really speed up the process and make sure that we can take advantage of what exists already within the CGIAR in order to boost this important work. So the 6 focus countries of ICRA are mentioned here. So we have 3 countries in West Africa, Senegal, Mali, and Ghana. And we have 3 countries in East and Southern Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, and Zambia. So how do we work? Briefly, this is the way we are making sure that the results of this project can benefit the whole continent. So as I said, we focus our intervention in the 6 countries, but what we generate there can spill over to make sure that it can reach the other countries through a regional partnership with, for instance, CORAF, that is in this room, with Agrimet, which is working on the climate information services, ICPAC or CARDESA in East and Southern Africa. This is the kind of partnership we have been putting in place to make sure that we can really make sure that the 7 million beneficiaries can access and use the different solutions. So here I've just listed a number of these partners. As I said, we're currently working with 160 partners across the continent. And as the director of CORAF said, partnership is crucial if we really want to make sure that the last mile of the beneficiaries can really take advantage of what we generate as solutions. Now, why we need a fertilizer and soil health hub? I think some of the challenges that have been listed here have been already mentioned in the different discourse. But let me emphasize on the fact that in addition to the low application, for instance, of fertilizers, the lack of context-specific fertilizers recommendation, we also have this issue of the context of climate crisis that comes and jeopardizes the situation of these poor and vulnerable farmers. And so ICRA being focused mainly on really generating climate information services and climate smart agriculture solution, we think that this is an opportunity to leverage and make sure that it can go hand to hand with the regional hub solutions to make sure that a package can go to the hand farmers. So there is a clear evidence that soil health is strongly linked with farm resilience as a precondition to provide the basic services for plant growth and therefore contributing to the regulation of nutrient, water, carbon, and gaseous cycle. But at the same time, healthy soil are the foundation of climate smart farming. So we cannot do climate smart agriculture without making sure that we have appropriate fertilizer recommendation, organic matter application, and all other solutions to make sure that we improve the soil health so that it can come as an added value for successful implementation of the climate smart agriculture approach that ICRA is promoting. Therefore, you see the connection in ICRA as a project promoting CSA and the regional hub that is coming with, all these recommendations to really improve the situation of the productivity, but at the same time making sure that adaptation, resilience, and greenhouse gas emissions are also reduced. So ICRA is beyond the support in terms of financial resources that will be given to the regional hub, is also planning to contribute on the technical side of things. And I've just listed here a number of activities. I don't want to go into the details of them, but just to let you know that out of the 20 functions that Bernard will come and maybe elaborate more, you will see that ICRA has already planned to intervene around 10 of these functions of the hub, which I believe can be a leverage to really speed up the process and make sure that this important initiative of regional hub can really move faster in view of the different needs. So you've seen here that a number of them include, for instance, activities in Ghana, and in Ethiopia, in Mali, in Senegal, and so on. Okay? So if I just take the case of Mali, these are the different activities that the ACRA project is planning to deploy in line with the regional hub activities. Again, I won't go into the detail, just an example so that you know that there are already things happening or starting to happen in line with this initiative. Same for Ghana, same for Senegal, and for the other countries that I already mentioned. Thank you very much for your attention, and I will let the mic to Bernard for the detailed description of the hub. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zugmore. Thank you for the concision. And also, thank you for reiterating the fact that the hub is not working from scratch. The fact that we have different partners that are bringing together the technicalities is that we have already a strong foundation that we can work on. I'll ask our DDG from IITA, Bernard, to please come on the stage under your warm applauses, not only for the presentation, but also because he's the one hosting us. And he also has a presentation that he will be going through.
Hello, yeah. Merci, madam. Yeah, welcome. Welcome, everyone. I probably, when I witnessed the signing of the memorandum between Ewi and Vice President Hetiti, it was in October last year, isn't it? When I witnessed this, I could not have imagined that I would be standing here in June, already, you know, doing quite a meaningful step towards operationalizing this hub. So it's a pleasure to be here, absolutely. So why are we here? You know, when something happens, it's very often never the result of one thing only. So there's a lot of things that coincided that made us come here today. One thing that made us come here today is because smallholder farming systems in Africa, they need to intensify. I think Madame la Commissaire l'a dit déjà, everyone has said the yields are too low. Without increasing yields in a sustainable way, we will not change the food security and income situation in Africa. I think that was said already. The second thing why we are here is because managing fertilizer has presented challenges. We heard about Abuja. Abuja, people often talk about Abuja in either negative or positive terms, depending on how we look at it. I think Abuja created a lot of positive change, but the ultimate goals of Abuja are still work in progress. In the meantime, of course, we have seen that the availability of fertilizer has improved a lot, and there are a lot of companies here who will witness on that, but we've seen the activity sometimes still remains an issue. We've seen that use efficiency, fertilizer use has increased. I think the figure of 20 was mentioned, but use efficiency can still be improved. We are not yet there. We've seen that taking care of these very heterogeneous production systems in Africa is presenting challenges. There is not one silver bullet for every situation and every crop, although we've made progress. We've seen that a lot of the discourses that started in Abuja after 2006 on integrated soil fertility management, they taught us to assemble practices that will actually use that commodity very well. But there's still issues with uptake and so on. But we have made progress, and we will show some of that during the tour later. This is an example from Kenya. Kenya is not in West Africa, but it's an area where we've done quite some work and where we were actually able in parts of Kenya, the southwest part, to actually be very specific with particular recommendations for maize at the county level. And you see a lot of different colors, which means that there is not one solution for all. So we are able to really use the science of today to answer that question of site specificity. We are here also today because while managing fertilizer was not straightforward, managing soil health is even more complex. And there's a number of reasons why it is more complex. One, there's not a lot of consensus on what is soil health. We talk about it all the time everywhere, but what is it? And I think this is another reason where the hub can really contribute. Let's agree on what it is, what we are aiming at. Some of the key indicators of soil health, they change slowly. It takes time for them to change. Measurement is not always easy. We can't measure carbon every year in every single farmer's field. So how do we measure change? There's a number of issues with incentives, because it is a long-term process. We need incentives for people to invest. And there's, of course, policy frameworks in Africa which are often not talking. Although, of course, the summit of May has really changed that, or will change that. So that's another reason why we are here today, I think. Another reason that we are here today is because ECOWAS decided to advance the fertilizer and soil health agenda through the Lomé roadmap in May last year. You took that decision as ECOWAS. If you had not taken that decision, we wouldn't be here today. So congratulations for that also, I think. We are here today also because in that Lomé roadmap declaration, there is reference to a regional hub, which is an initiative of ECOWAS to create those synergies and efficiencies. The Sahel in Mali is very similar to the Sahel in Niger and Burkina Faso. So there's a lot of options for creating efficiencies, synergies, regional implementation, as the DG of Farah has said, and DG of Koraf. So we are here today because in October, as you see on the right side, Mr. Hetiti, Vice President from West Africa, welcome, sir, and the DG of IIT, they signed a memorandum in Marrakesh in presence of the World Bank, and they said it would be good if this hub is hosted at IITA for ECOWAS. So that's another reason why we are here. If that signature had not taken place, I don't think we would be here today. And lastly, probably we are also here because there's a consortium of partners that decided that it's better we work together. We have often a little bit of a history of competition, isn't it, my colleagues? So I think we are stronger if we are together. And so I really want to acknowledge my colleagues from OCP Africa, from APNI, IFDC, FARA, Mohammed Sis University. I saw Joanne was sitting there, but she left. So thanks a lot. Honestly, thanks a lot from my heart. Because without this cooperation, this sense of doing things together, we would not be sitting here. So all these 6 or 7 dimensions together made this happen. If one of them would not have happened, we would not have sat here. I forgot to mention ICRA and the world. I'm looking at Abel. So I forgot to mention the financial support from the World Bank and OCP Africa, which is of course as critical as everything else. Any of those ingredients missing, we will not be here today. We would be doing other things. So what are our plans? I have a few more slides. What are we trying to do? I will not go into too much detail now, because the tour we will have will talk a lot more about the details, what our plans are. But a few slides maybe just to introduce the tour also. First of all, the hub is not an IITA thing. It's an ECOWAS sub-program, as we are calling it, for supporting member states in improving soil health and fertilizer. There is an advisory committee chaired by ECOWAS who will check what we are doing in the hub, who will advise on work plans and so on. There is a consortium of technical parties, and I've mentioned them, who will take decisions on what to do on a consensus basis. So it's not IITA taking decisions. It's a consortium of partners. And there is a coordination unit hosted by IITA because we will ultimately have fiduciary responsibility for a lot of the work. So this is the way it is set up. Yeah, you're at IITA, but the hub is hosting. The IITA is hosting the hub. So we have a vision. We want to contribute to the transformation of African agriculture based on the strengths, based on what we can contribute. And that's to do with fertilizer and soil health management. That's the collective expertise of our partners. And our mission is to deliver agronomic gain. Agronomic gain we define under 4 dimensions: yield and profitability. We need to increase yield and profitability. Climate adaptation, Robert introduced the topic. Resource use efficiency, water, nutrients, labor, mechanization is part of this. And soil health for the sustainability things. Delivering those 4 things means we have delivered agronomic gain for the sustainability and the transformation of African agriculture. We have, in consultation with the technical partners and consultation with ECOWAS and external parties, we have identified 20 functions. And again, I'm not going to read those. We will see those demonstrated in the tour. So there's a number of functions related to soil information. There's a lot of advancements in that space that we can provide assistance with. There's a number of recommendations, secondly, on knowledge management and sharing. There's a number of functions of agronomy, the nutrient recommendations we've talked about, and other, carbon is there. There's a number of functions on capacity development, functions on policy support and investment prioritization, awareness and advocacy, and then resource mobilization. So this is our agenda for the next 5 to 10 years. All of this we have committed to deliver in support of investments in fertilizer and soil for the ECOWAS region and the Sahel. This is our mandate, if I can call it that way. So this is my last slide. Implementation. The hub is set up with staff capacity, assets, tools to provide technical assistance in relation to the functions in the countries of the ECOWAS region and the Sahel. And of course related to the development and implementation of fertilizer and soil health investment. So that's our role, that's why we are here. Following the launching today, we will have a workshop tomorrow and Friday with some of you, with the countries. There's 8 countries invited in this meeting today. So we will work with you and we will start exploring what are those opportunities, where is the capacity, what is needed in that fertilizer and soil health space. So by Friday evening, we will have action plans on what to do next in Q3 of 2024. Because we have deliverables by the end of 2024. The launching of the hub is one deliverable, but there's a number of others that we need to achieve. And following this week's events, we will then have bilateral discussions with the countries, we'll visit the countries, we'll agree on what our priorities number 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 for then operationalization in Q4 and next year. So this is our plan for the latter part of the year. So thanks a lot. Looking forward to working with all of you. Merci beaucoup. Et soyez les bienvenus chez nous à l'IETA. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bernard. I think that you have given a little bit of more clarity of why you made people fly all over Africa with the delays, the cancellation and all that to get here. And I'm sure they're very happy that they made it. So for the remaining of our program, we are going to now officially open the building. To do so, I will ask our beloved DG, Dr. Ewi, with his table to please proceed to the gate. And 3 people will be cutting the ribbon. So, Madame la Commissionaire of ECOWAS, Mr. Jamali from OCP, because as Bernard has mentioned, this wouldn't have been possible without the financial support of OCP and the financial support of World Bank. So, Abel, please also proceed. Yes, you will be the 3 people on the front cutting the line. The rest of the table, please follow. Same thing for table number 2. Yes, table number 2, you will follow. You are table number 2. And table number 3, also as well, please follow the crowd. For those who are, so after the opening, that will continue with the tour. And the rest of us are going to follow the tour through the television that is here. And the rest of us will have the opportunity to actually do the tour this afternoon in 3 rounds, okay? While we are here, we get the benefit, I'll wait for them to go out, to have snacks and coffee. So please enjoy the snacks and the coffee while they're doing the tour and we're watching it on the TV, okay? Am I missing someone? Perfect. Can we remove this? Yeah. Pourquoi vous n'avez pas d'écouteur? Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? Ah, toi, ton voisin a écouteur, toi, tu n'as pas écouteur. Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? Ok, je vais aller chercher les écouteurs. Ah, il ne marche pas. Ok, je vais aller chercher. Qui n'a pas d'écouteur? 1, 2, 3. Hein? Je peux rien. Non, le signal, normalement, arrive jusque là-bas. Donc, c'est pour ça, je vais voir si c'est le... Voilà. Oui, parce que normalement, le signal arrive jusque là-bas. Est-ce que vous, vous l'avez? Ok, je vais aller voir avec lui, ok? Mais donc, du coup, si c'est le signal, ce que je vais vous demander, est-ce que vous pouvez vous rapprocher de là? Parce que comme ça, vous allez entendre les explications pendant qu'ils vont parler. Venez vers là. Si c'est une question de signal, s'il vous plaît. Donc, les francophones, rapprochez-vous par là, si c'est une question de signal. Parce que pour le tour, il y aura des explications, vous devriez être en mesure d'entendre. Non, ils ne sont pas là. Donc, vous pouvez venir vous asseoir ici. Voilà. OK? Donc, vous pouvez vous déplacer et venir vous asseoir ici. Yes, perfect. Et entre-temps, encore une fois, vous avez du café, tout ça là. Vous avez 1h15 pour vous faire plaisir et regarder le tour qui aura lieu sur la télé. OK? I'm just saying the same thing in English. We have 1 hour for people in this room to please enjoy the coffee.
So this is going to be the tour. So if you would like to follow, is everyone on the phone? So I don't need to translate.
Sure.
Yeah. So maybe if you follow me, we'll
Sure.
go to the first stage.
Henry.
So welcome. This is, as I said, stage 1, where we will demonstrate how we can use new technology, adaptive technology, to go from the soil sampling to the production of digital soil maps. So this is one of the key objectives. I will hand over to my colleague Joseph, who's the lab manager here at IIT.
You're welcome. Actually, when we talk about soil health, everything about soil health begins with taking the soil samples from the field and bringing the soil samples to the lab for analysis. These are soil samples that have been taken from the field for analysis. This is a black soil, this is a red soil. from different fields. Once they come from the fields, they undergo sample preparation within the lab, and that includes drying and sieving before they go for analysis.
Hello? Can you hear me? You can, so that means it's working.
As good as the gold standard is, well, it costs quite some money also. There are new technologies that are coming also that are facilitating and generating faster results. But for us to be able to use these new technologies, we have to further process the soil samples. So we have special aggregate grinders that help us to process the samples into finer fractions that enable us to use the new technologies. The new technologies include the mid-infrared technology that measures spectra of the soil using infrared reflectance. Now, these are the type of spectra that comes. Each line you are seeing there actually represents a soil sample. This is like the fingerprint of the soil. With that fingerprint, when we process it, we're able to get most of the information that we get from the wet chemistry analysis. And we have another technology here, the X-ray fluorimeter, that enables us to do total elemental analysis, and including contaminants in the soil and fertilizers. It also generates a spectra like that, and from the spectra, we're able to make predictions and get values like this that gives us the concentration of various elements in the soil. Now, this new technology, we can analyze many more samples in a short time than the other method. Okay. Yes, about 2 weeks thereabout, and you have various instruments that you are going to use. You can't get all the results in one analysis. With this one, with one scan, we get all the results, and this one, it takes you less than 3 minutes, yes, to analyze one sample. So, yeah, we can, all the states, yes, the idea is that in all the states, they should be able to do analysis like this. And we need to be able to build that type of capacity, actually. And that's what the hub actually exists to do, yes. You'll get more information on the data from here.
Thank you, Joseph. I will tell you a secret. When I joined IITA in '91, as a very young person, I was younger in '91 than now, Joseph was the one who helped me, who me to use all those methods. So, yeah, I will now hand over to my colleague Samuel. Minister, he will join us in Liberia very soon. So Samuel is also a soil scientist working with us.
Thank you. You are welcome. Yes, we are also online. If we apply those rapid methods as described by Joseph for large area of land, thousands of samples used in a geographically explicit manner, using new tools, new technologies, new analytics, we are able to come up with a digital map for the West Africa and the Sahel. And we are working and collaborating on NISCIC, which is the World Information Center based in the Netherlands, to actualize this. Here is Rick, the director of NISCIC. He will show us what is possible with the soil map, an example of soil pH. Yeah.
It's nice to show when we've been here in Ghana, and we see that within Ghana, the situation is very warm. We see that the subhas, the soils are acid. Whereas here, more closer to the Volta River, we see that the soils are less acid as compared to this. So there is a lot of information to be gained from this map, especially when it comes to making decisions for mining, for instance, to reduce acidity.
So the role of the hub will be to provide technical assistance to the countries and look at what is available in digital soil map and to see how we can improve on those, and also provide advisories in terms of how to help the countries to sequester more carbon in their soils. You are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. So we are moving this way now. This is June McDonald. Don't. What am I saying? You ready? Yeah. Where do we stand here? Ça vous connaissez, n'est-ce pas? Let's wait a little bit until everyone is here. Yeah, I will wait until. So, oui, c'est ça. Oui. Donc, so, what we are. What we are having here is the next step, because all what you've seen in the other room, you need to bring the soil to the lab. There's logistics with that. So here we bring the lab to the soil. But Donald, my colleague from OCP, will tell us how.
Thank you. As explained inside, that is bringing the soil to the lab, and here we do this to the farmer. We take it to the farmers directly in their field. What we do here at OCP is we conduct in-situ analysis with the farmers, provide recommendations in their field, and also take them through gap trainings using the audio visuals by the other side there in the field. We've been able to reach over 980,000 farmers across Africa, and we've reached about 9 countries right now we are present in with this same type of technology. It's not a difficult one. It's like the mid-infrared. We can do up to 150 samples daily, moving from community to community with this technology. And so, these have helped a lot of farmers adopt the precision agriculture culture that they want to do analysis before they go to apply fertilizers. The farmers now know that they can seek advice from agronomists. They wait and say, okay, we are waiting for you. What should we do? So this has become a kind of consolation to farmers in rural areas particularly. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering, the efficiency, and the cost of this, because most of our farmers, are very small scale, 1 acre, 2 acres. So does it make economic sense for you guys to be going to each of these fields and mapping the soils?
Exactly. So there are a lot of chapters to this, but however, because we are focused on enabling smallholder farmers, this is a kind of an intervention brought closer to smallholder farmers. On this technology, each sample costs about $5. Okay, and for the farmers, intervention from OCP Africa. For the very first 5 years, it was free of charge to farmers. It was subsidized by OCP Africa. Okay. So number of samples depends. We'll take what we call representative samples of every area. Okay, so what we take is we'll use the composite samples, and we use the AFSIS method protocol to take our samples.
Okay, thank you, Donald. We'll move in this direction. So there's another function. Maybe we'll stop here. There's another function to the hub. You know, we are talking about those 20 functions. We are actually demonstrating them. So one function is prioritize new scientific studies. Because one thing that will happen when you go with those formulations, when you go to many, many farmers, you will see in a number of cases there will still be more problems. There is not what they call silver bullets. So we want to capture that and see what is the next generation of questions. A good example is micronutrients. That was not such an area of priority before, but now we recognize that there's a lot of questions in that space. So this is an aerial map of IITA. This is 1,000 hectares. We are here. What I wanted to show here is that here in this compound we have all the infrastructure needed to facilitate those new scientific studies. We have all the greenhouses, you see many of them here. We have about 300 hectares of land for experimental purposes. We have the labs, we have the technical people. So we can really assist the ECOWAS region by bringing students here and working on some of those new research questions. So that's really another function that's key to the hub. This is 300, 400 hectares of forest, the center of bird biodiversity. I don't know if some of you like watching birds. People come here just for that, because you know, in town there's not a lot of biomass left. So if you have the chance and if you have a bit of time, it's really worthwhile, you know, moving around a little bit. Yeah. We will probably organize that, madam, yes. There's a lake here of 80 hectares. It's really a nice environment. Yeah. What we are going to do now, if we go into the next room. Yeah. Ready, Meklit? Everyone is ready? Yeah. It's a bit fresher here. We'll wait a little bit until everyone is here. Okay, so what we are demonstrating in this room, you know, as I said, we have 4 stages. This is stage 2, which is really demonstrate to do all that work to sample soils and take measurements and do all the analysis. What can we do with this? Why do we bother even? And here there's a number of functions that we are going to show that also the hub will try to, you know, provide assistance with to the countries. We'll start on this side with my colleague Meklit. You heard about data scientists, isn't it? This is a data scientist. Yeah, working with us in Nairobi. So welcome.
Thank you, Bernard, and welcome everyone. So we prepared a very short video to show for you what is technically possible. Let's just see.
And I'm here to present you with AgWise, a collaborative and adaptive data analytics framework for tailored agronomic advice. AgWise is currently providing tailored advice for 8 crops and 9 countries in Africa. And this is made possible using agronomic data from partners and from open data sources such as Caro. In addition, expert input to contextualize the advisories by characterizing the target area in terms of growing season, ag input availability, etc. are also used. The data is aggregated in the data cube for further use. In addition, for extrapolation of the model predictions to the target area, Soil, weather, and satellite image data are extracted at a scale from secondary data sources such as the digital soil map from ISRIC. The geospatial data is also aggregated, enriching the data cube. In terms of computational infrastructure, AgWise is running on CG Labs, which has multi-core processors, high-capacity RAM, and all the qualities listed here. And as you can imagine, the data cube is also residing within the CG Labs. Now that we have the data, let's move to the analytics. AgWise runs several crop models, and the objective is understanding the effect of the spatial variation of soil, weather, and the other data on crop yield. And this modeling helps to map potential yield and identify optimal planting date and best fit cultivars, making the advisory tailored for changing climate. For instance, here you see soybean water limited yield for Malawi, which is done considering 3 weather scenarios, wet, dry, and average weather conditions, 3 cultivars, long, medium, and short maturing ones, and several planting dates. When it comes to modeling yield response to nutrients, AgWise has several workflows using QuEFTs and machine learning algorithms. QuEFTs is used to understand yield and soil nutrient supply relationship, and machine learning algorithms such as gradient boosting, random forest, and artificial neural network are also used coupled with QuEFTs. Finally, we get to optimized fertilizer advice tailored to sites for maximum profit with increased nutrient use efficiency, which will make government investment on fertilizer a success while improving soil health. So, AgWise builds on what was done previously, of course, such as Rice Advice, Nutrient Expert, NextGen, but specifically from Aquilimo. The next presenter will take you further to the world of Aquilimo. From my side, thank you very much.
Yeah, we have these solutions. We are using them for several countries. What we would like to do now, add the ECOWAS countries in the list. You are experts, you have the data, you have the knowledge. Support us tailoring fertilizer recommendations for the West African countries. Thank you.
Thank you. So if you didn't understand everything, don't worry. I also don't understand everything. Don't worry. And that's why we need young people like Meklid and Eduardo who are trained. All these tools did not exist 10 years ago. They did not exist, this is new. But we have many young people who are trained with those methods, and they need to help us to translate that soil information into useful products. And now I'm handing over to my colleague, Thompson, who's our man in the field. He's bringing a lot of those tools to many, many farmers and partners. Thompson.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. As a follow-up to the last presentation, we are also having a lot of decision support tools that have been developed over time, and through the data analysis as a follow-up on that. And we have been able to have some of them that are selected, a few of them, to be able to show you. We have the Rice Advice Lite, we have Aquilimo, and we have Nutrient Expert. Rice Advice Lite is basically for rice, Aquilimo is for cassava and can be adapted to other crops, while the Nutrient Expert is basically for maize. And what is the basic thing about it is that the regional hub is going to adapt the use of this crop, of these tools generally to the condition of soil and crop in your countries. So I would like to also give us a sort of short demonstration of how it works practically in the field, used by extension, and also which can also be used by different people generally in the field. So the app that has been customized, and you have to put in some information, particularly the location. We have it working in Nigeria and Ghana, and we are trying to look at other countries as well. And you select the country, and as a result of that, you can see the location. You can also do it manually, or you are in that location live. And then you go to the aspect of what category of a size of land that you are going to pick, and you can also specify if it is not part of what you are having there. Then you can also look at the planting date and when you are going to have your harvest. That is also customized as what we go. Then you pick either you are going to plow or you are going to reach, depending on what you are going to do. You can pick the two, or it could be one of that. And after that, it gives you all the input that you have provided, and you can now proceed to look into the aspect of what you are going to have in different recommendations. So now these are different tools: fertilizer recommendations, schedule planting. But let's look at fertilizer recommendation. So for fertilizer recommendation, there are some specific aspects it's going to ask you in terms of what price do you expect to sell your cassava, and where are you going to sell it? So it tells you then is it going to be in kg and all that. You have to specify that specifically. Then you also look into the aspect of the fertilizer that are available in that particular location. So it could be NPK, it could be urea, it could be all those kind of fertilizer. So once you pick that, then it shows you the next thing in terms of what is going to be your investment that you need to have. So you have to pick that level. Then you go to the next aspect in terms of the yield you are likely going to get. So in terms of the yield, it gives you an idea what is the size of that yield and all that. Then you can pick what you are going to have, or you try to put it in. Then that at the end of the day gives you the recommendation. So the recommendation comes as you await that, and it can come in form of SMS, but I've showcased it here. This is how the recommendation is going to come. There you can really see that can be given to the farmers. I'm like to hand over to my colleague who is a partner using some of these solutions already across some of the countries.
Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Samson Oguntoye. I work for Notori Chemical Industries. We are a fertilizer company. I also double as the Secretary General of the Akilimo Nigeria Association. The Akilimo Nigeria Association is a network of organizations from across different sectors: public sector, private sector, and even research institutions that are working together to use the Akilimo tools in a sustainable manner. We have a network of about 270 partners, about 155 of which are in Nigeria. We have been able to reach, through the use of the Akilimo tools, a total of about 448,000 farmers across the 3 countries where the Akilimo app is in use, and we have been able to impact over 340,000 hectares of land. Generally, the farmers who are using Akilimo have been able to observe yield increases of up to about 29% on their fields, and we hope that we are able to continue spreading information about Akilimo use and getting more and more farmers to adopt the advisory to improve their outputs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samson. So thank you, well done. So yes, absolutely. In fact, Akilim, is there anyone speaking Swahili here? Akili means, and Kilimo means. So why is agriculture? Why?
Before you get it, does it mean you already have the soil profile for all?
Recommendation. We've done the validation trials in those locations, and we have been able to program them. That's part of what Meklit has done. So we are now the one using the results of what he has done. So all the data are at the background, at the back end of the app. So it picks that and gives the recommendation specifically. So it's a site-specific recommendation. At the moment,
just in IITA. We need to transfer that capacity to the countries, to Burkina, to Mali. This capacity needs to be available within the countries. As I said, with younger people who are trained and who are much more adapted. So we had the modeling, we had the applications, the advice. Now we need to bring the advice into practice, because you cannot apply your advice. You cannot apply the phone on your field, you need inputs. So now I'm handing over to Canon, who is a colleague from APNI, Plant Nutrition Institute.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'll take you through the evolution of different products based on research, and this is specifically fertilizer. So I'll start with initially we had the single nutrient fertilizer, urea, that the 46% nitrogen. This fertilizer was quite robust and can be applied on so many crops. But with the research, we've had to introduce or include other nutrients that are required by the crops. Like the second fertilizer, we are looking at the triple nutrient fertilizer, which is for NPK. But this can also be modified to fit with the grades to fit different crops. But with further research, as you might have earlier heard, that the micronutrients are also becoming important, and they're even becoming important with the specific crops. So the fertilizer we are seeing here, like this one for rice, it has included other micronutrients like the sulfur, zinc, and even boron. This fertilizer is also applicable for so many regions, and it has been proven to increase yield by over 35%. With further research, other fertilizer blends are being formulated for the different crops. So the one we have here is for cocoa, that has also proven to increase yield by over 52 or 50%. So that is 50%. That means whatever we are doing will work with the different fertilizer companies in the different countries to actually have different blends for the different crops and even specific soils if need be. Thank you.
And the next step in this process, we are handing over now to Kazim. So this is from urea to a more complex fertilizer. Now the next step is blending specific fertilizer for specific crops and soils. That's the next step. And Kazim from us.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kazim. Like we all know, at the end of the research, we need to produce the fertilizers. And that's why OCP has set up 3 blending plants in the country, one in Ogun, one in Kaduna, and one in Sokoto. The 3 blending plant has a combined capacity of 500,000 metric ton. Yes, metric ton. Yes, per year, annually. And one of the major reasons why we set up this 3 blending plant is to be able to produce this specialty fertilizer, which I'll talk about, and also to be able to produce quality products, which is a major challenge in the market. Like we're well aware, specialty fertilizers is the fertilizers that we produce for the soil and the crop, so that we don't give either less or more nutrient to the soil. So the 2 major reasons why we produce these fertilizers is because, one, for yield increment. We all believe that the moment the yield of the farmer increases, the farmer will make more money, and by making more money, the sector grows, and everyone in this room benefit from it. The other part is about cost. Today, in Nigerian market, we use generic fertilizers, the likes of 15-15, 20-10-10, and farmers apply about 4 or 5 bags per hectare. But with specialty fertilizers, you can apply about 3 bags. And when you look at it by cost per hectare, it's way cheaper. We just need to bring the story to the farmers. We need to sensitize them about this product. From these 3 plants, we have produced about 6 blends for crops. We have also invested in the research, because producing is one action, but developing the right fertilizer is one. So we are one of the business in this country that advocate for research-based fertilizers. We had invested over 4 million to develop about 13 blends for 8 crops. We have developed blends for maize, rice, potato, oil palm. And in developing these blends, we don't just do it as OCP, because we don't have the mandate to do it. We work with research institutes like IITA. IITA developed the maize blend, cream for cocoa, NCRI for rice, and the likes, and that's what we do. For us, quality is important. It's good to mention. We have set up laboratories in our blending plants, because today There's no blending plant in the country that has laboratory. For us, we set it up for two functions. We test the raw materials as they come in before production, and we also test the product as we are producing. Because today, we all know that the major challenge that farmers are facing today is the quality. And that's why most of them are saying they don't want blended products. So we have set up these 3 blending plants for this purpose. So at this point, I would want to take you through the process of blending. I start with when we receive the raw material. At this plant, we can receive raw materials in bag and in bulk. And from there, we'll move to the production process where we would weigh the inputs. We have feeders that feed into the blending plant as we weigh the inputs as they blend the product. And it's from there it goes to the blending system. I also want to say,
it's an opportunity for me to invite all the delegations under your after your go ceremony tomorrow to visit our plant in Ogun. So we are all invited for our plant Ogun tomorrow, 10 a.m. Yeah. We will do it. It's in our way. We will do it a special visit for the people that did in the workshop. So we will do it in our because in the road to the airport.
So we'll organize this. So colleagues, the next we heard about the step from soil sampling to crop and site-specific products. That whole flow, and the hub is really set up to assist with each of those steps where there is need. So, but now we'll go into another direction in a biological way with my colleague Yao and his colleague Bola. Go ahead.
Thank you, Bernard. So we have heard about nitrogen fertilizer. We have seen the urea, but there is also another way to introduce nitrogen fertilizer into the system to bring the organic matter for the soil health through the biological nitrogen fixation. This is done by the microbe that are helping. You can see this. These are nodules on the legume root system. And this is soybean crop. And on soybean crop, the microbe that is forming the nodules is known as Bradyrhizobium japonicum. You can see it here on the solid form. It's the same microbe that is on the liquid form here. So this is actually what we see as science. But then how do we take that science to farmers? To take the science to farmers, then we need a delivery mechanism to be able to introduce the microbe into the soil. And that is what we call Nodumax. Nodumax is actually, you can see the packs, is a pack that contains the pits that carry the microbe. Yeah, you have the pit here that is carrying the microbe at the rate of 1 billion microbe per gram. And in addition, it comes with a sticker. Here is the gum arabic, to be precise, that is used to stick the inoculant to the seeds. And then finally, we have a flyer that carries the information to give the instruction to the farmers to do the right application. So now I will, my colleague Okebola will take us through the application process to see how we do it.
Thank you. Good morning, all. Nodumax is applied at planting, and what the farmer needs to do is to dissolve in warm water to obtain this and get the soybean seed ready. And when he's ready to inoculate or to mix his seed, he needs to moisten the seed with the gum arabic to moisten every part of the seed. Afterwards, we pick the inoculant, cut it open, then take the inoculant and pour on the seed. Then mix the seed thoroughly to get it homogenized. goes for 10 kg seeds. Yes. This is less than 10 kg. That's why I'm taking part of it. $3. Okay, so after mixing, this is supposed to be here dried away from direct sunlight. Then, after a few minutes, like 10 to 15 minutes, and it is ready to be planted. Thank you. Very good. Very simple and easy to apply.
No, the quantity of microbia, they stick to the seeds, and directly when the plants start germinating, they colonize the root and then start forming the nodules. The nodules are actually factories that are fixing the nitrogen in the soil. Yes. So currently you can have a figure here that is showing inoculated plant compared with uninoculated. Just looking at the aspect of the plants, you can tell. And that translates into the yield, 30 to 40%. And as we speak now, over 150,000 smallholder farmers are using Nodumax. Over 260,000 hectares across these countries that we map here. So, building on the progress that has been made, the regional hub will come in to explore the options to be able to recommend the biofertilizer to different countries in West Africa and in the Sahel. Yes. When we compare with the urea, the fertilizer, like the question was asked, $15 is enough to inoculate for 1 hectare. That is an equivalent of $120 if we are using the urea. So it's something that is cheaper for farmers to adopt. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yao. Now we go into the last stage in this room, which is I'm handing over to IFDC, my colleague Mariana from IFDC. She will talk about bundling solution.
Thank you. So welcome everyone. I'm Mariama from EFDC. So when you took around, you see many different technologies like models, recommendation, how to do blending and biofertilizer. So for holistic solution, we need the different technologies and improved seed. So we have to bundle all the technologies with a package. So the package is a combination of all the technology so that we can deliver to farmers. So according to their socio-economic condition, like access to market, access to credit and insurance to credit. So we also based against and for environmental condition, so like soil condition, climate, and crop type. So bundling is also, we have to work with different partners, because technologies is not only for one partner. So we have to bring some partners together to deliver the technologies together and work together. So thank you.
So this is also a function of the hub. How do we bring different technologies together based on the constraints? This is a bag of lime. If you go to Liberia, probably we'll need lime. If you go to other places, probably it's less important. So how do we bring best technology together based on the... Yeah. Thank you, Mariana. So this is the last stage in this room, which is stage 2, where we showed how do you use data to bring something practical to as many farmers as possible. So that is the second thing. We go outside now. The third stage is on the enablers. What do we do now in the capacity development space to be sure that this technology does not stay in this room? This technology has to get out of this room. So I will hand over to my colleague Shemi.
All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to what is perhaps the most critical function of the hub. We want to transform change on the ground. We want to see yield increase. We want to see more sustainable soil health. So at this part, we are going to talk about the efforts of the hub to translate science into practice and ensure that we are reaching the desired impact. And in the end, we have to solve for the farmers. So we are going to have a tech team. I'll cover part of the presentation here, and my colleague Joan is also going to cover part of the presentation. My name is Shemi Singore. I work for the African Plant Nutrition Institute, and I'm based in Benguerir in Morocco. So I want to highlight several core functions of the hub in delivering knowledge, technologies, and solutions to farmers. At the ground level, we have to engage farmers in an effective way. It's not just a matter of taking science and passing it on to farmers, but it's about co-learning with farmers to better understand their needs, their demands, and make sure that technologies are adapted to the context of farmers. And that just does not include the fertilizer technologies or other solutions, but it also includes the socio-economics. Technologies should be viable in the socio-economic sense. And that's where on-farm experimentation gives us an excellent tool that allows us to engage and experiment solutions coming from the research, adapt them to the local farming conditions of farmers, and we facilitate adoption of these technologies by testing them with farmers in the field. We also don't believe in a one-way learning. We don't know everything as researchers. As part of the on-farm experimentation, we are also going to learn from the experiences of farmers. They better understand the heterogeneity, the complexity of the farming systems, and we want to capture that learning and bring it back to the pipeline of research so that we can develop more tailored and more suitable technologies for the farmers. But it's not just about working with farmers. We also want to make sure that the people who have the task of bringing the knowledge to farmers are also given the right capacity and the right tools to serve farmers appropriately. So we are going to work on an extension training program that is going to be standardized across the region. This is one key gap of translating science into practice because of the weaknesses in the extension systems. And as part of our hub activities, we are going to implement a standardized certified extension program that's going to increase and enhance the competency of extension partners in delivering the solutions to farmers. At this juncture, I want to pause and hand over to my colleague Joanne, who's going to talk about a critical function of building the capacity of research as a way of ensuring that we have the necessary manpower to deliver on the promise of African agriculture.
I don't know if our microphone is working. It's working? Okay. Oh, I got you. Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming. And so thank you, Shemi. I know we're standing with the African Plant Nutrition Institute, but we're like cousins because I'm actually at the Mohammed VI Polytechnic University. And we're next door. We are neighbors and cousins in the fact that we're both committed to a training program. And what we do at the university is we work on the empowerment of the youth through a variety of different training programs at the bachelor's, master's, and PhD levels. We also have postdoctoral fellows. It brings me back to what Mrs. Commissioner said to us earlier today. We must support the youth. We must support the women also. And so we have especially certificate programs also for professionals to continue the professional development, and that sort of goes along with other certification and other types of programming to support everybody to get the level of knowledge up to a very good level, and make sure that we have uniform delivery of information at the right level for everybody that's working at the different fields and so on. I pass it back to Shamie to move to the next.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to conclude by highlighting that we are going to build on the extensive knowledge that a PNI has generated both in working on on-farm experimentation networks. We have a wide network of existing trials that cover 9 countries and more than 500 sites across the continent. So we'll build on this wealth of knowledge and also the expertise on ensuring that the multidisciplinary approaches that are needed to address and reach impact are well integrated in the program. And we also want to highlight that we have an existing training program that has been instrumental in training more than 500 extension workers on the continent, and then also working on supporting some of the last mile deliveries for agro dealers and other personnel who are involved in providing advisory services to farmers. And recently we have actually implemented a training workshop with the West Africa Fertilizer Association that has already started to create a platform that we can build and expand as part of the activities of the hub. Then beyond the capacity of research and extension and farmers, we also see the need to interface very intricately with the policy. We want to make sure that a lot of the knowledge that we have from both the research and the extension support goes to the people who matter most, people who are making all the decisions on the investments, and we are creating the evidence for ensuring that policies are based on appropriate knowledge and appropriate information to reach impact. And then at the same time, there are other socioeconomic issues of integrating gender and youth in ensuring that we are addressing the needs of some of the key stakeholders who are going to be critical in delivering the impact of fertilizer and soil health. And then beyond engaging women and youth as part of our gender strategy, we also see the need to make sure that there is greater general and global awareness of fertilizer and soil health issues in Africa, and dispel the misconceptions that have brought confusion and challenges in directing the right investments in fertilizer and soil health. Thank you very much.
So we are outside, as you can see. You know, this is a symbolism for taking all the good results that we created in the lab and then to bring it outside to many farmers. And I think we all know that this is absolutely critical. So this is the end of stage 3 of our visit, and you've also seen that this is not just about IITA. You heard OCP talk, you heard IFDC talk, you heard APNI and UM6P talk. So we just wanted to demonstrate that this is really multi-partnership where we are all, you know, bringing our best to the same table, isn't it? So the 4th stage is now we are going to listen to a few private sector partners who will help, you know, delivering solutions at scale. So the first is OCP. We've heard about them. I don't know who will talk here. Yeah, 1 minute. Okay.
All right. Welcome, everybody. We will start with this very quickly. So very quickly, this is what we have as a digital solution for smallholder farmers. And we want to treat a couple of things, and I'll run through that very quickly. First, access to a marketplace, a digital marketplace where farmers can actually buy products. And that's here. So it means that farmers can actually have a digital marketplace to buy products. But it's also important that education can be passed on to farmers. And digital is one of the cost-effective ways of passing education to farmers. What that means is rather than bring farmers together and then train them, you can actually tailor information to farmers wherever they are. So we can do that. We can also do things like extension network. So we can have extension agents who use these platforms and then can be able to, pass on the information to farmers. We also have things around farmer database. Today, data is actually the big money today. So can we gather data of farmers? Today, we have an application that has over 300,000 farmer data transaction. The products they use, the seeds they planted, the fertilizers they used. Can we use that as an asset for us going into the future? So that's another area, a revenue area we can look at. But what we have today, and we have tried to leverage on what OCP is known for. As a fertilizer company, we've done several, you went through the OCP school lab. We've done soil profiling of different areas. Today, farmers don't have a recommendation. We know that up here is where the ultimate kind of recommendation is, but can we find something middle ground? So from the data that we have gathered before now, can we be able to recommend to a farmer what level of fertilizer he needs to use based on the seed type that he's doing? And all that we can do within this. So we've picked an area, for example. So it means that we can actually say what crop does he plant, and then what location is the farmer. And then based on the data of that location, we give him some level of recommendation. And that's what it's going to look like. So he has to use 8 bags of NPK. So we look at what products are available within his area. And for every product you change, it reflects the volume of fertilizer that he's supposed to use. And then he can find sellers within his local community. And lastly, he can get articles that teach about those things. Yes.
As we said, the 3 examples you gave there, they are just 3 examples. There's other examples. So one thing we will do with the hub, because we often see you come today, somebody comes with product A, tomorrow somebody comes with product B, Wednesday another product. So one thing the hub will do is create some logic, some consistency. We had problems in Ethiopia because there were 4 partners bringing different products for the same thing. We had a process with them to streamline and Ethiopia be in charge, because Ethiopia works for Ethiopia, right? So one of the functions of the hub is to see all of them have their advantages and disadvantages. So our job will be to bring it all together and see what makes most sense for which area, which crop, which environment.
Good part is this covers all crops, all
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
even across all.
So that's going to be a function, Simeon. Yeah, because there's a lot of things happening in that space. No, we need to move. Time. No, 1 minute. 1, not 2.
So just to mention that we also have a GIS platform, which for us is going to address a major challenge that people with large form of lands have to manage, and which is remote access to your land. So with satellite data and a bit of ground data, you can do a lot of things, which one includes land usage. So can we monitor? So for example, the government wants to know where is the arable land across Nigeria, the actual arable land across Nigeria. So land usage. Number 2, can we also look at things around phenological stages of plants? So can we measure and see that with AI and understanding satellite imagery, can we do that? And can that help? So a commercial farm, for example, who has a 5,000 hectare in maybe 100 kilometers away, can you monitor that from a base station? So then you can look at weather data also. Can we also be able to use satellite to gather weather data? And then finally, can you predict your yield, which is going to be very important. So at 6 weeks, can I say, okay, yes, based on the satellite imagery, the understanding of artificial intelligence, machine learning, I can predict what the yield would be. And then every year, can you measure that and get it better? So if you say, okay, your level of error or tolerance is this, and then next year, the machine learns it and gets better. That's what you have there.
To add something very important for that, what's bring this GIS that, we used to have one data every 4 years, 5 years, but this platform will allow us to do it every 5 days, 110 million hectares every 5 days, and we can run the model on 30 minutes. So on 30 minutes, you have all the data about 110 million hectares. It's depend on the picture you are buying from the satellites. So it's basically the budgets.
Some of the pictures go 3 meters, but you can't access them. They are secret. Yeah, thank you very much. This function is related to measurement of agronomic gain at scale rapidly, which is another function of the hub. No, you're bribing people now. No bribing. No bribing. No bribing. No. No, I don't know if it's a competitor or a partner.
So you all are.
Wait. Let the people come.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
It's fine. Perfect. Okay, so the people from the tour will be back in about 5 minutes, and then we will resume with our program.
Yeah, so I welcome you all to Indorama Fertilizers Limited. Our plant is based in Putharkot with a capacity of 2.8 million metric ton in 1 year, and we are coming with 1.4 million ton production capacity in 2016 to make it 3-line production plan and total capacity of 4.2 million metric ton we will deliver in the year 2026. So along with the production and selling in the country, we are also taking soil sample from the farmers. Our team of agronomists, we have almost 60 agronomists in the field who are visiting farmers, who are taking soil samples. They are sending it to Putharkot in our world-class facility, soil lab. They are testing and we are giving result to the farmers. And we are recommending them the correct fertilizer, either it's urea or NPK. We have Indorama Farm Grow app also, where we have almost 50,000 farmers registered on our app across Nigeria. And in this app, farmer can request for a soil sample. Farmer can see where we are going to do our activities, where is the location for the trainings and all this. Along with that, we are giving these literatures to farmers as a training material so that they can read and they can go through apart from our meetings which we are doing in the field. We have urea and we have started with NPK blend last year. And we have also started farmer service center. Total 6 centers we have started, one in Ibadan, one in Kaduna, one in Abakaliki. Likewise, we have 6 service centers where farmers can come and they can discuss and they can share their knowledge, or they can ask for any fertility issue or any questions they can ask. Likewise, you can see in that photograph, this is our center in Ibadan. If you come from Ibadan town to IITA, it is on the right side. Yeah. So this is where we are servicing the farmers. Yeah. So thank you so much for visiting. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks, and thanks for joining us. Thank you so much. Yeah, I know.
Good afternoon, sir. Yeah, welcome. My name is Adinla Yilu. I'm the blending manager for Golden Fertilizer Lagos. And you are welcome to Golden Fertilizer stand. This is our blend, our top blend, NPK 2010-10, 2010-5, 27-30-13, 12-12-17, and NPK 15-15-15. Our NPK 2010-10 comes with micronutrients like copper, zinc, iron, manganese, and boron. And 2010-5 as well comes with micronutrients. And these blends are actually good for cereals. Yes, they are good for cereals, and our major customers are from the north. They come for 2010-10. For the eastern customers, we have 27-30-13 and 12-12-17, where they plant tubers, and also some parts also make use of 50-15 for yam and other tubers as well. So. Okay. So, thank you very much. Yeah.
Contact is there. Very good.
Yes. So good afternoon, sir. So you are welcome to the Notori stand. Notori is an agro-allied chemicals and power company. We produce fertilizers and improved seeds. So these are some of our products. In there, you heard me mention under the Akilimo project, this is the root and tuber blend that we developed under that project. This is our urea, which is our flagship product, and then this is a sample of our 2010-10 fertilizers. So we have also some instructional material, some of which are related to the Akilimo projects. for cassava. And then I can accompany that also with a profile of our organization. Bring more, bring more. Yes. Yes, so this will, oh yes, Akilimo. Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Oh, very old. It used to called, it was called differently before. I forgot the name now. It's the first urea plant in Nigeria. Nafcon it was called. Yeah. Madam.
Yeah, you're welcome. This is a plant and soil health unit of nematology and is of one branch in IITA. Plants parasitic soil nematodes are dangerous pests and they are microscopic in nature and they are worm-like structure. They affect the farm and affect the produce, and which cause farmers to lose a lot of money due to the significant yield loss, poor quality in produce, stunted growth, nutrient deficiency, and so on. Now, for example, potassium is very important and one of the plant nutrients. But where we have nematode activities in the soil, it affects the plant. Meanwhile, potassium is very good to minimize the stress in plant. But where there is nematode activities in the soil, it increases the stress of the plant. So the failure to minimize the potassium level and to maintain the nematode in the field, it will cause a great loss. One is we have like this a rough quality, we have stunted growth and so on, in which it will affect the income of increase the food in the country. So it is very good that we manage nematodes in the soil so that we have good in the country. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, alors.
So this concludes our tour. I think we've seen the 4 stages. I hope it gave you a bit of a picture on what we can do with the hub. So thanks for your attention. We are going back inside.
J'ai l'écho derrière moi. Ceux qui sont partis faire le tour seront là dans 2 minutes. Donc, ce que je vous invite à faire, c'est de vous asseoir, s'il vous plaît. Comme ça, ils vont venir nous rejoindre. Please take your seats as the tour has ended, and we will be proceeding with the rest of the program in 2 minutes.
Could you follow? The visual.
Welcome back for those who had this very nice stroll. I hope that the content was insightful. So we will now proceed to the rest of the program, which consists of the signature of MOUs between the key parties that have been instrumental in setting up and will be instrumental in the hub's activities over the next years. So I will, in a few minutes, ask the key people to come on the stage for this signature of those memorandum of understanding. After that, we will have closing remarks, and then I will finally let you go for lunch. And in the afternoon, as I mentioned before, people that were not able to take the tour this morning will have the opportunity to take the tour. Okay? Everybody's ready? Okay, so I will ask our host, Dr. Ewi, to please come because he will be the one standing on stage for all signatures. Dr. Ewi, Simeon? Sorry, I have skipped one very important part. Yes, comment c'est possible, exactement. my apologies, deepest. So we'll have the special envoy for Africa Fertilizer and Soil, who used to be the DG of IITA, and who is very happy to be back, give a couple of remarks before we go to the signature. Please, Dr. Nterania Sanginga. And your very, very warm applauses, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. You don't have energy. Good afternoon. Yeah, before coming here, I was telling Mr. DG that I was going to speak about him. And the story goes this way. After 11 years being DG at this place, and you are preparing to go, and you start thinking about who is the person who's going to replace you, right? If you are in the government, most of the time you will make sure that you train your successor, and maybe I did that. But the story goes this way. Simeon was a postdoc here, and I was here as a scientist. He went to ILRI, and he went to the World Bank. Big careers, director, was going all over Africa, and they were so proud of him. And I remember just a year before I retired, I had thought about what I was going to do in the future. And I decided to create this institution called the African Leadership Institute. And among the people I had asked for review, there was many, but among those people, Simeon, as the director of the World Bank then. And he gave some remarks and so on and so forth. And we met several times and chat, probably a year before I retired. Now we have to look for the DGs, and we're looking at all the people we can approach and so on. And so I approached him. And I was not sure about what I was going to tell him. How do you convince someone who's been a director of the World Bank, right? But I tried, and I told him, you know, Simeon, you've been a director of the World Bank here, and the World Bank is the World Bank, the whole world. You've done your best, but the day you leave the bank, it will be just a number. Someone called Simeon has been here, and his number, like I still have a number right here, is 2514. I'm sure I had a number as well in the World Bank. And I said, when you leave, you are forgotten completely. And probably you can't even remember what you did in the World Bank. And I said, if you come here to IITA, everything you do here will have impact. As a good example of that, you give a contract to a casual laborer in a cassava field who's been a casual for 6 years. And the day you decide as a DG to change a policy that favors that person to get a contract, that an impact, that person will never forget you, because you didn't affect only that person, but you affect the whole family and also relatives, all right? And I told him there's a difference between being as a bank and me being a DG here at IITA. Every decision you take has an impact on the people and so on. And I think that was my argument. And I'm glad that he accepted to come here. And as you can see today, Simeon, this facility that we are inaugurating here, if I try to count, you've been here for a year, probably I can say you've started with an institution which is here, which is going to serve Africa, and which is going to stay here and discount the number of the people who are going to work, employ there and in all different places. So you've started with the impact. If you were at the World Bank, you could have given just the money and other people do it, but here you are doing it. I think we have to clap for. The other thing I'm going to say, I was the DG here for 11 years. I invited my predecessor 7 times to come and visit, come and help. He never showed up. For 11 years, I was here. But I'm glad and grateful for your leadership and all your colleagues. I've been here 3 times, and you've given me the honor of even being the DG Emeritus. Doesn't happen quite often. If you see what goes in Africa in terms of politics, when you replace a president, he becomes your enemy immediately. You can never show up. And I know that because I'm a special advisor to the president of DRC. And when we talk, our enemy number 1 is the former president. So, and here I come in and, well, I have the United spirit, and that spirit that has continued, and make sure that this kind of example should be emulated by other colleagues and other young people and so on. Let me conclude in talking about now what we are doing here today and opening the hub, the Sahel hub. I'll say 2 things. And again, giving an example of how politicians behave in Africa. And a good example would be in 2011, we had a minister here called Adesina, who is the president of the Development Bank today. When he was a minister, coincidentally, I became the DG, and we decided here at ITA to initiate that program of the agenda of transformation of agriculture. And for 5 years, this country was moving very fast, making a lot of progress in agriculture. Everybody knows that, the story of Adesina, that landed him to the African Development Bank. And when he left, his successor, Minister Audu Obe, his first objective was to change everything that Adesina did. That's called policy somersault. He changed everything. He didn't even want to associate with the people who was associated with Adesina, including myself, the DG. Why am I saying this? After the summit, the first summit of the Sahel Fertilizers in 2006, which I had an honor of being one of the organizers. 5 years later, here at IT, when we were writing our strategy for the 10 years between 2011 and 2020, the Sahel Health Platform was one of the key things we wanted to do. After 11 years I was here, I was not able to do it for one reason or the other. And I could imagine if the leadership of ITA behaved the way the politicians behave, they were going to basically make sure that that will never uh, get even touched upon. Am I right? So I'm so happy, and I have to congratulate Bernard and the leadership here for reviving this platform. This platform is really very important. My last story would be to say, hey, we've seen all what you discovered as the objective, what we want to do, and that's good. But this is really project based. If you didn't get the funding for the World Bank and others, maybe you won't initiate this facility. It is an advantage and a disadvantage if you are not careful. The advantage is that you have a project and you've started it. But how sustainable is this going to be? And what impact you can envisage in the 10 years to come, in such a way that after 10 years you can say, oh, this has been the story of my 10 years investment in this area. And I'll give you just an example. This building, when I came here in 2011, was a horrible building. There was no roof. It was this bad. And I got a project for the Gates Foundation on agronomy with science, a good project that allowed me to repair this building. And I put a big group of the weed scientists. That's probably the largest weed scientists group on the continent. 5 of them, it was full of people there, a lot of energy, and 5 years, everything was going on and so on. But after 3 years, the project could never be renewed. And you know what happened? There was 26 people in that building, and we started eliminating the people, eliminating. And when the project ended, I think certainly 2 years ago, this building was almost empty. I'm just telling you that so you know. Today, we are starting with a project of 5 years, probably with 5 million. And what happened when the 5 million finish and you don't have another donor to think about? So think about sustainability and build the commercial, in my view, identity in it, like we do with the Go Seed. Just think seriously about that. And then my last point is about impact. So now, we've seen a lot of network. We've seen a lot of projects for 5, 10 years. And when the project is ending, as I said for the weed scientists, you don't remember what you did. And there is no legacy of that project. So think about a major problem that you can solve here on the continent with what we are creating today. And I'm going to suggest one. And I'm suggesting this because as a special envoy of Feed Africa, I've been able for the last past probably 6 months, meet with almost 7 head of state. And they're all talking about fertilizers and all kind of things. The last one is the president of Kenya, where you know the story of fake fertilizers and acidity and all kind of things. So I want you to think about the problem of acidity on this continent. If you take the last frontier of agriculture in the world is in the savannas of Southern Africa, the Miombo from Tanzania, going to DRC down. Huge land compared to Brazil with a lot of possibilities, but they are acidic. And we don't tackle that. And I dare to say, if we can tackle that, this is going to be a very strong legacy because you're going to unravel the potential of those huge lands, just like in Brazil, where you can grow soybean, maize, or big stuff. I will pick acidity as a major problem to tackle for the continent, and that could be a legacy. Okay, so let me stop here, and again, reiterating my thanks to the DG and his team, and to the whole colleagues, and to all my friends in ITA, OEM.
Thank you so much, DG Emeritus. I think he's confirmed once again the speaking skills of Francophone. Even in English, they can do it very well. So congratulations to you. But also thank you for sharing this very, I would say, successful story of transition. And I think that's something that is commendable. So thank you for doing that. And now, since we've talked and you've talked so much about Dr. Ewi, I think that he's the one that we haven't seen on the stage yet. It's his time. So please, Dr. Ewi, under your, yes, come. I will also give you a pen. But please come under applauses, of course, and always. Please have a seat in the middle because you will be staying throughout all the signatures. The first signature that we will have, as DG Emeritus very well mentioned, this project is happening because there is funding. And one of the funding partners is OCP. And we have the pleasure of having the CEO of OCP Africa, Mr. Mohamed Anwar Jamali. Please applaud, applaud. No savings of applause, please. And he will be the first one to sign the MOE between IITA and OCP Africa. Thank you again. For this signing, I would like to have witnesses. So we mentioned earlier that this has been done under the leadership of ECOWAS. ECOWAS will come later. But there are Pan-African institutions that are here with us. So I'd like to ask the executive directors of FARA and CORAF to please join us on the stage. Yes, Dr. Aline Fall et Dr. Agré, s'il vous plaît. Farah Koraf. Ah, il est pas. Ok, c'est pas grave. Tu vas représenter. C'est super, vous connaissez même le protocole de on se lève, on fait la poignée de main et la photo pour la postérité. J'ai pas besoin de vous le dire. Super. Under your applauses, please. Thank you very much. Mr. Jamali, please stay on the stage. You can just take the share that is on the side. If you can, please, whoever is on the... The chair that is over there. The chair that is over there. Just bring it a little bit so that you can see. No, 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 toca, toca, toca. Toca. Jamali. Vous allez juste vous mettre là, je pense que madame... Attends, on va encore finir avec vous. Et oui, il doit rester. Il faut lui dire. Sinon, tu vas monter, descendre, mais faut rester en même temps. Faut rester en même temps. Faut rester en même temps. Okay. So, Dr. Ewi, we have 3 documents to sign, so, and you are the new DJ, so you have to sign them. So please stay and remain seated. We have now the representative, the executive director for FARA. He will join for the witnessing. And I will ask, yes, she's already ready. Please come. Mrs. Masanje Tourelitse, ECOWAS Commissioner for Economic Affairs and Agriculture, to please join us. So that is the second MOU between ECOWAS and IITA, and I don't need to remind you the critical role that ECOWAS is playing here. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Great. It is taken, captured for posterity. Superb. Now I would ask Mr. Jamali to come closer to the table because you will now sign a tripartite signing. No, Dr. Ewi, you're still there. You're still there. Why do you want to get off the stage so quickly? You are there. So this is the last signing. Hello? Yeah, now is the time for the biggest applause. You have 3 of them. Convene the last energy that you have. Then we go for lunch. Almost. Yeah, the last energy. Go. Superb. Thank you so much to all of you for not only signing the documents, but for also the support to this initiative. Yes, please, people that will help us remove the table and the arrangement on the stage. Sure. I will just ask Mr. Jamali, if he doesn't want to go up and down the stairs, to stay on the stage, and the others can take their seats. Please, assistants, to remove the table. Thank you very much. I know that we have been making you exercise a lot today. Between the stairs, the tour, and all that, the VVIP doesn't, it's not easy. It's not an easy life. Presque. Mais mun nga wàcc, amul benn problem. You can come down. Yes, everything. Tables, please remove the tables and the chairs. Sound, please put back the pupitre in front so that our dear guests Superb. Thank you so much for your assistance. And of course, I don't need to introduce him again, but I'll still introduce him again. Mr. Mohamed Anwar Jamali, CEO of OCP Africa, is going to deliver his closing remarks.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Excellency ECOWAS Commissioner for Economic Affairs and Agriculture, esteemed directors and executives, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with great enthusiasm, we gather here on the inspiring campus of IITA to launch the Regional Fertilizers and Soil Health Hub. This hub is a significant milestone in turning the ECOWAS roadmap for fertilizers and soil health into tangible outcomes that will uplift our farmers and empower our communities. We express deep gratitude to ECOWAS for this strategic leadership and unwavering support in adopting the roadmap and bringing us to this pivotal moment, and to the World Bank for their continuous support and initial financial contribution. Heartfelt thanks go to IITA for hosting us and establishing the hub and organizing today's event. We also thank the consortium members for their commitment and valuable contribution, whose collaborative spirit and expertise are vital to our success. The hub will serve as a center of excellence, a place for knowledge sharing, innovation development, and best practice dissemination. It will be a platform for collaboration among governments, research institutions, private sector players, and farmers, harnessing the power of science, technology, and traditional knowledge to build sustainable and prosperous agriculture sector. We recognize the complex challenge our farmers face and believe in collaboration, innovation, and shared vision to create sustainable, resilient food system in Africa. By nurturing African vast potential and soils, we aim for sustainable agriculture growth through tailored fertilizer formula, soil health solutions, and good agriculture practice like precious nutrients management, etc. These strategies optimize resources, enhance soil fertility and crop yields, and ensure long-term environmental health and economic viability for farmers. Numerous programs have already been carried out by OCP Africa in various countries to improve soil fertility and health, focusing on developing fertilizer formula tailored to specific crops and soils and promoting good agriculture practice. With the creation of this hub, supported by various technical and financial partners, this program will be scaled up and extended to other regions of the continent. Our support to the regional hub will encompass several key areas. Development of digital soil health and fertility maps, number one. Number two, development of site-specific soil health and fertility solution and science-based recommendations considering soil, climate, and cropping system. Number three, supporting farmer-led experimentation to adopt site-specific solutions and adapt 4R plus practices to local conditions. And number four, providing technical assistance to operationalize the hub. In conclusion, the action plan from the Nairobi summit reflects our commitment to meaningful change, confirming the relevance of the ECOWAS roadmap for tailored fertilizer and soil health solution. Aligning with this roadmap ensures targeted and effective efforts, fostering sustainable agriculture growth and productivity across the region. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jamali. Once again, not only for the speech, for more than that. We are going to proceed with the next speech. As you all know, the World Bank has also been one of the critical players and stakeholders in making this a reality through the ACRA project. So I would like to ask Mr. Abel Lufafa, who is the Manager for Agriculture and Food Global Practices, to come on the stage. And your warm. Summon the energy, summon the energy. You can do it. You can do it. Thank you, Abel.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. It's hard, to give a speech after, so many eloquent speeches have been given. But first of all, I want to thank, the organizers of this function. Yeah, I want to thank. Can you give me this one? Yeah, better. Yeah, I was expressing my thanks to the organizers of this function. Thanks very much for extending the invitation to the World Bank. It's a great honor to be here today. But also, I want to congratulate, IITA and the other partners for the successful launch. We were here around Feb this year, and we drove through this place, and Simeon and Bernard showed us. Actually, they pointed to the place where the hub would be. I went away thinking, these guys are just joking. But now, coming back 2 or 3 months later, the hub is in place. I think this is something great, undoable in Africa, but you've done it. Congratulations. I don't know how many of you attended yesterday's dinner and how many of you were sober by the time Simeon gave a brief speech. In that speech, I think Simeon painted, a picture of where Africa is, the state of agriculture in Africa. And he gave numbers about food insecurity. I recall talking about 50 or to 80 million people that are food insecure. When I went back to my room, my mind drifted back, those debates most of you had, in your formative years, where we, you remember Bosserup, Esther Bosserup, you remember Malthus, So I was debating in my mind, and I was asking myself, who might turn out to be right in Africa? Those of you that might not know, Malthus is the guy that posted that, at some point, population growth would surpass agricultural growth, and people would die because there would be no food. It rings a bell in Africa, population growth going up, people suffering, from food insecurity. But on the other hand, Bosworth, was of the view that, population growth itself would be a catalyst, would trigger, adoption of innovations, adoption of technologies, and therefore, we would be okay, I think that part of, the debate, applies to other countries or other continents, but in Africa, I think we are lagging a little bit. And I think what we are doing today in terms of launching, a hub, for innovation on soil health, I think is something that is very important. I fundamentally believe that, in a way, in Africa, we've been a little bit reckless in the way we manage soils. I come from Uganda, and, in Uganda, we have a joke, we used to joke that, our soils are very fertile. You could plant your finger, cut your finger, plant it, and it will germinate and grow into a human being, because we thought our soils are very fertile. But that was wrong, We've never, come to an understanding that soils are just like, a bank, if you keep just withdrawing, eventually, you run bankrupt, And that's where Africa is. Our soils are bankrupt, nutrients, nothing, you look at biodiversity declining, and most importantly, the physical, properties of the soils are degrading. And these are mostly irreversible. You cannot reverse it. So for me, I think what we are doing here today is very, very important, and the World Bank stands, by that. Our partnership, of course, you see our support. For us, that's just like, the initial deposit, to what should be a long-term engagement. We know soils are very important, for Africa. They are very important for climate change. We know they are very important for the sustainability of ecosystems. So, we stand behind this initiative, and, look forward to working together. But I think, for me, the hub, in a way, the way I heard people talk about it is more of a technical solution. But I think, resolving the issues of soil health in Africa would require more than a technical solution. And I think we start with political willingness. We saw what happened in Nairobi, the political willingness, and please, let's exploit that window of opportunity. Those windows close so fast, there's momentum on the political side, so we should be able to take advantage of that and move the agenda as fast as possible. Then there will be an element of policy. Policy is very important. And most importantly, actually, marketing. How do we market it? Because at the end of the day, markets are the guarantors of whatever we are trying to do here. If we do not help, farmers produce profitably, market their produce, then everything, will go to waste. And what Sanginga was talking about in terms of sustainability would be impossible. So, I'm very happy that, we have a plank, technology. We are sure of that, but, let's work together, build partnerships. I like, the fact that OCP is here, but there are other players, industry players, private sector, philanthropy, all those guys are interested in the agenda that we are pursuing. So, once again, congratulations. We look forward to working with you, and I'm looking forward to impact. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abel. Okay, we are almost at the end. We have 2 more speeches, and then I will let you know how you get to the food. So I would like to ask Dr. Ekong. Dr. Ekong is the Special Assistant for the Honorable Minister of State for Agriculture. He's representing the Honorable Minister of State for Agriculture for Nigeria. And under, of course, your warm, warm, warm applause, he will deliver his closing speech.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Your Excellencies, the Honorable Minister from Liberia, the Commissioner from ECOWAS, distinguished and erudite scholars from the CG system, our own brother and friend, the DG of IITA, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the press. I stand here first to tender the apology of the Honorable Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, distinguished Senator Dr. Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, a commander of the Order of the Niger, who has so much passion for soil health. He had planned to be here, but at the yesterday's Federal Executive Council meeting, he was mandated to join the team to visit Kano. He had to leave for Kano late yesterday evening, and he sends his heartfelt apologies to this gathering for his absence. But he has sent me with a speech, give me the honor of dressing me in the garb of the Honourable Minister. You are seeing me, but you are going to hear the voice of the Honourable Minister of State for Agric and Food Security. So for the next few minutes, I'll be the Minister. Thank you very much. It is with great honor and privilege for me to be part of this occasion, where professionals and development partners come together for the official opening of the regional hub for fertilizer and soil health. As we all know, soil health is the continued capacity of soil to function as a vital living ecosystem that sustains plants, animals, and human beings, and that the well-being of the soil is critical for sustainable agriculture and food security. The event of today is a renewed hope for sustainable agricultural practices, food security, and environmental stewardship in the West African sub-region, which will also foster effective collaboration, innovation, and knowledge sharing among farmers, researchers, policymakers, and industry leaders. Please permit me at this juncture to emphasize Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR commitments, as it was stated by me at the last Africa Fertilizer Soil Summit that took place in Kenya at the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. I stand here to reiterate the fact that my ministry shall do its best to actualize the National Farmer Soil Health Card Scheme as it is provided for under the year 2024 budget. This is geared towards actualizing Mr. President's renewed hope agenda on food security and increased farmers' productivity through efficiency of soil management and fertilizer use and application. It is pertinent to inform you that the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President has identified agriculture and food security as a core anchor for actualizing economic growth and diversification. I join all stakeholders of this project to work together in one accord towards realizing the aim of the hub, which is to enhance soil health and agricultural productivity across the region, so as to provide the required technical assistance for the development and implementation of investments in fertilizer and soil health in ECOWAS sub-region, which will help in unlocking the potentials of our soils, enhance fertilizer use efficiency, and promote climate-smart agriculture. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I consider it absolutely necessary to acknowledge the efforts of the International Institute for Tropical Agriculture, IITA, our development partners, and other relevant stakeholders for their immense contributions towards the success of this occasion and for the hub. While thanking you all for your presence, I look forward to a brighter future for African agriculture. Finally, I congratulate all of us for walking the talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the voice of the Honorable Minister of State for Agriculture, and thank you to Dr. Ekong for impersonating and having that voice. Thank you so much. So, last but not least, our very own DG, Dr. Simeon Eui. He has been trying to avoid the stage, coming down very fastly, but this one he has to do it. So, here he comes, under your applauses, please.
Thank you very much. Us too, we managed to make sure that I'm here. Honorable Commissioner for Economic Affairs and Agriculture, my dear sister Masanje Turebitse, my brother Mohamed Anwar Jamali, President of OCP Africa, Honorable Minister Alex Nwate from Liberia. I would like to also recognize my dear brother, former DG Emeritus Saginga, here present. My colleagues and brothers, Alun Fal of Koraf, and also Agri, Agumia of Para, the leader of Para. I shouldn't forget His Excellency Ambassador Humphrey Geisel from Namibia. He's here. Came all the way to visit for the occasion of this particular event. Abed Lupafa, my dear friend, younger brother from the World Bank. And I would like to also stand on all protocols, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. As we conclude this momentous event, I am filled with a profound sense of accomplishment and optimism for the future of sustainable agriculture in Africa. Today's inauguration of the regional hub for fertilizer and soil health marks a significant step toward addressing our region's critical soil health and fertility challenges. This initiative is poised to drive sustainable agriculture, climate resilience, and improve livelihood for our farming communities. Agriculture in Africa is at a critical junction where the health of our soils is fundamental to its success. Soil health is the foundation of agricultural prosperity, and its conservation is a collective responsibility that transcends boundaries and sectors. Fertilizer use is crucial for increasing crop productivity in Africa and provides a key entry point toward building soil health. One could argue that building soil health without fertilizer is not achievable at scale, while the efficient use of fertilizer requires healthy soil. Recognizing the pivotal role that soil plays in achieving these vital goals, OCP Africa, IITA, APNI, UM6P, the World Bank, and ECOWAS have collaborated to establish this transformative regional hub. Our vision, our shared vision, is grounded in the understanding that soil, though seemingly finite, possesses an innate capacity for regeneration when cared for wisely. Our collective commitment is to harness the full potential of the soils of West Africa and the Sahel to sustainably increase ag productivity, mitigate environmental degradation, facilitate adaptation to climate change, and ultimately improve the livelihood of smallholder farming communities. The rationale for a regional hub for fertilizer and soil health is very clear. Soil health crosses national boundaries, and crop system and agroecologies are similar across countries. Therefore, the analytical and data collection tools we use should be standardized across countries to exploit the power of big data effectively.
Moreover, regional cooperation is essential as the African research and development system and investment from international financial institutions are often organized regionally. Our vision for the regional hub is to contribute to transforming African smallholder agriculture, focusing on sustainable intensification and climate adaptation. Our mission is to facilitate agronomic gain at scale by supporting the development, the delivery, and the monitoring of fertilizer and soil health management practices. This involves enhancing yield and profitability, resource use efficiency, climate adaptation, and soil health. The principles guiding our hub include a partnership for impact, a soil-centric approach, scientific and research excellence, data-driven decision-making, capacity building and knowledge sharing, advocacy and policy influence, and continuous monitoring and adaptive management. We aim to empower farmers and communities, advocate for responsible soil management, and use robust data systems to inform local decision-making. Our objectives are comprehensive, ranging from developing digital soil health maps and soil health dashboards to supporting national institutions and advocating for soil health policies. We also focus on building shared databases, supporting farmer-led experimentation, strengthening national practices, and mobilizing financial resources. This initiative emphasizes collaboration led by ECOWAS in countries, focusing on multi-sector platform and local stakeholder participation. The hub's success will be measured by the increase in yield and income of at least 3 million farmers, improving soil health for 1.5 million hectares of land, and 1.5 million farmers' adaptation to climate change hazards by 2023. This is a target we set for ourselves. IITA is proud to host this hub, leveraging our extensive research capabilities and infrastructure to support its mission. Every aspect of this initiative reflects our commitment to scientific excellence and sustainable agricultural practices. You have seen today in the hub just a glimpse of its extensive capabilities. The advanced facilities, cutting-edge research, and innovative technologies showcased today exemplify the potential and the significant impact this hub will have on agriculture in our region. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, establishing the regional hub for fertilizer and soil health is a significant step toward sustainable agricultural future for Africa. Together, we can ensure that our soils remain healthy and fertile, supporting the prosperity and resilience of our farming communities for generations to come. I want to express my heartfelt thanks to all our partners who have made this hub a reality. To OCP Africa, to APNI, BM6P, the World Bank, ECOWAS, and all other stakeholders, our partners, FARA, CORAF, and others. Your collaboration and support have been invaluable. Together, we are laying the foundation for a brighter and more sustainable agricultural future for Africa. I wish to also express my deep appreciation to the government of Nigeria for their unwavering support and cooperation. Your commitment to advancing agricultural development has been instrumental in making this hub a reality. Thank you very much for your attention. I won't end without also express my appreciation to the media, the people, who are really helping us to transmit the messages across the online communication. And I won't end without also thanking all the distinguished guests who have attended today. Your presence here very clearly underscores the importance of our collective effort and shared vision, and then that we have for the future of agriculture in our region. Once more, thank you very much for your dedication, your support, and participation into this event.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ewi. I think he wanted to end by saying Jeff because he says that very well. Donc, merci beaucoup, Jeff. That will be his final words. Exactement. Ok, la boucle est bouclée, comme disent les Français. We are coming at the end of our opening ceremony. I hope that what you've heard, what you've seen is an inspiration and also fuel for the 2 days of work that will happen after today. I would like also to thank everybody that Dr. Ewi has already thanked, but in addition to that, the staff of IITA who has been doing a tremendous work to get us all here, despite the cancellation of KQ, the cancellation of airpeace, and all that. But we are all here gathered, and this is really great. So we have a couple of tiny things to do before you can go to lunch. The first one will be the group photo, and I will ask first table 1 to go and take a group photo, then the whole group will join you for the big event group photo. That's number 1, task number 1. Task number 2, because the VVIPs, actually they get the most of the work. You come back. So table number 1, plus everybody that has had something to say today on this stage, come back into this room because we're going to have a little press conference. As Dr. Ewi said, the press and the media are critical in getting the message outside of just this room. So I'll ask another 15 minutes of your time for us to do this press conference. For the rest, the bus will be ready to take you back to High House where you will be having lunch. After lunch, those that were not able to do the tour this morning, there will be a tour planning that we will communicate and that you will find at the reception that will tell you on which bus you can get on, at what time it will get you back here, and you'll have the opportunity to do an actually long tour. Bernard had to cut it a little bit for the morning one, but in the afternoon you can take your time, ask your question, for you to really understand what the hub is and what it can do for you. All this, whatever we've said today, whatever you've received, whatever you'll be going to do this afternoon, once again is to fuel the discussion that you're going to have tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. You have a big task, because on Friday you need to come back with elements that will fuel into the work plan of the hub. It cannot happen without you. Okay? Sur ce, je peux vous laisser. Bon, les francophones, ça a été difficile pour vous. Hein, donc vraiment, pardon. On s'excuse. Je sais que la traduction n'était pas parfaite. J'espère que vous avez quand même eu l'essence de ce qu'on voulait partager aujourd'hui. On va se rattraper cet après-midi. Vous aurez, j'espère, une meilleure traduction. Et dans les travaux de groupe, bien sûr, vous serez en langue, donc ce sera un peu plus facile pour tout le monde. Ok? Sur ce, est-ce que je vous libère et est-ce que vous avez tous compris ce qu'il faut faire juste après ça? Il ne faut pas disparaître. Ok, super. Donc sur ce, merci beaucoup à tout le monde et avec plaisir pour se retrouver à déjeuner. On va laisser 3-4 minutes à la table 1 pour qu'ils prennent leurs photos et ensuite on va les rejoindre. English, hein? Ok, I go back to English. Anglais, français. Les anglophones là, vous faites pas d'efforts. Hein? English people, English, anglophones, please. Understand some French. Franglais. Ok, y a pas de problème. I'll do franglais. Okay, so we'll leave them 2-3 minutes for them to take the first picture and then we will join for the group picture. Okay? Docteur Zouk-Mor, est-ce que vous pouvez rejoindre la photo là, s'il vous plaît? Zouk-Moré. Zouk-Moré. Ah, donc, Dr. Zouk Moré, est-ce que vous pouvez rejoindre la photo là, s'il vous plaît? And then I have... Ok, je vais demander à ceux de la table 2, table 2, please, can you join the group? Table numéro 2, table 2. Table 2 and 3 are already with you. They are already coming out. They are all with you. 1, 2, 3 you have. Table 4, table numéro 4, vous pouvez y aller. Et merci beaucoup pour la discipline. Vous êtes vraiment très facile à gérer. Thank you for the discipline and sequence exist. So table 4. Ok, dans 1 minute, tout le reste de la salle pourra se rejoindre au groupe. Ah, elle a dit dans 1 minute. Voilà, tout le monde peut y aller. Prenez vos affaires ou les CD comme vous voulez. Voilà, faites la photo de groupe et ensuite vous pourrez aller vers le déjeuner. So please, you can all proceed now for the group photo. And then you can go for lunch.